Do 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 do. Okay. We're live, it says. I don't see the chat going wild, but guess it's a Friday night and people have places better to. Very
Oh,
nice.
sorry.
Very nice. A very impressive way to start off the show, along with my phone going beep 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 beep. But yeah. Well, we're here. It seems like no one that I invited to come on popped up. Surprise,
I wonder
surprise. Even Thunderstruck 115, who we've reviewed his video on the Wednesday stream and concluded it was shit. It was laughable. It was funny to laugh at, but it is. He declined. He didn't want to make some great content by having him and Anna go head to head. I would even back off for a little bit just to be like, okay, have fun before I would step in. I would have stepped in at some point. Don't worry. I wouldn't have left you hanging, but I also should have told him, but no. And Brother Nier 2.0, it seems like he's taken a break from commentary for a bit. Saw a community post about that one day ago. It's a weird coincidental timing. You know, commentators tend to have to, take accountability, but I'm not even really a commentary, despite some people say. I'm just a shit slinger. No, not that bad. I just go about my mad scientist ways and on YouTube, trying not to misuse my bachelor's in digital communications, which good waste of paper, I guess, and many years of education. It's been on YouTube.
You're a digital bachelor now. I mean,
I'm a digital bachelor. I wish I had all the benefits to go along with that. Okay, so today, title of the stream, pretty much, where did we go wrong? Internet discourse. So first of all, I want to ask Anna Waifu, you said something about the 90s. Are you talking about the satanic panic sort of thing around Mortal Kombat, which we see on screen now? Is that what you were sort of alluding to?
Something like that. Well, really what I was just referring to was that, yes, there was a crash or whatever in the 80s, but that doesn't mean that it recovered like very quickly or anything. I mean, hell, we're still recovering from a pandemic. We're still recovering from a hurricane. That was like 5 years ago. I mean,
you're talking about the after effects.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't because it wasn't until the 90s that it started to recover. So I would consider the crash being from 1983 to 1990. But everybody just says it's 1985, which, like, no, that's not how that shit works. There's recoverment. There's got to be profits coming in, and that was until Pokemon, Mortal Kombat, even some, like Earthbound even kind of helped in that, even though it wasn't the most popular thing ever. I mean, we've had a lot of popular games come out in the 90s, which is why it's the 90s and the 2000s is called the golden age of gaming. So
out of curiosity, not to like make you like throw numbers out there, but when you say like it crashed, like how big was the industry in the 80s compared to, prior to the
nowadays? It was 80s. Still small as all hell, but it was just building up, and something set it back because Atari supposedly flooded the market with crappy games. I think, according to this video, and I wasn't alive then, supposedly something about Pac-Man port to the Atari was extremely unsuccessful, but everyone basically kowtows the ET adaptation.
But wouldn't that have been like a little hiccup in kind of a tiny market?
Oh, that was just...
And everything that's been there since is like...
It was just a straw...
exponentially sized market.
ET was just a straw that broke the camel's back, as far as I know. I bet a lot of low-quality games...
they're worth something now. I mean, now it's a huge collector's item if you can find what dump they were...
Maybe, but that has nothing to do with the quality and industry on an effect on consumers.
For sure. No, I was just wondering, like, would it have been like a big dip here, or would it have been? I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, do you know how much of the market kind of tanked in that? I should have looked since the last time we talked, and I did not.
Look at, I'm not a freaking expert, I'm not.
Yeah, neither am I. None of us are going to claim to be experts.
Well, sorry, I wasn't trying to put you on the spot or anything like that. I was just wondering, like, relative to like our
I think it just tanked Atari. Basically, Atari just gave up after that. This video said,
yeah, I mean, they were the leader at the time. Like, they were the Pong experts.
Pong experts. But yeah, I wanted to really clarify. Patrick's in, and he's on camera. You get.
Oh wow.
Anna Waifu, meet Patrick.
Oh yay,
Patrick! Welcome to the stream. This is the first time we've had face-to-face time. Nice to talk to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to talk to you too, Anna. Nice to meet you, Gray. Always a pleasure.
Indeed, sir. Likewise.
So I'm trying to follow along here. This might be rough for me. It seems like you guys go pretty deep on this, but I go way back to my first game system was Atari. So I have a long time view of this entire progress of where we are up to now with video games.
So do you know if E.T. crashed the Atari market?
I don't know, but I played it.
Was it sucky or not as
bad? Every game was sucky, but they were great at the time. I mean, Pitfall,
everything new.
Pitfall was sick. What else? Pitfall, they used to have. They had the crocodiles that you'd have to jump on their faces. It was fucking terrifying. But yeah, those games were great. Journey was another good Atari title that I enjoyed. Tanks.
Oh man, Pitfall was awesome though.
Pitfall was sick.
It was. You got to jump on the Crocs. You got to.
We need like a franchise. We need a movie franchise of it now. I think it's time.
Not much. We're just getting into it right now.
Hey,
can't get off of Atari. And I was trying to say the Centenic Panic. She's more talking about she thought it took until the 90s to get gaming back. It seems like Ryan here, Anna Waifu's biggest critic, it seems like, besides me, disagrees with that. I can see where she's coming from. That's why I asked her about this. Basically, let me actually play that section. I jumped ahead to Doom. There's a few sections I marked on this video.
Enough, and by
I tried to make an edit, but I couldn't get it uploaded in time. It would have been so much easier.
At the end of 1993, the national conversation on video game violence had reached US Congress, with both Sega and Nintendo being called up to answer some difficult questions. A number of advocacy groups and senators spoke on the issue, presenting a united front while focusing heavily on Mortal Kombat and the strange Sega CD FMV game Night Trap, and claiming that there had been a systemic failure of the gaming industry to police itself. When it came to those speaking in favor of the gaming industry, however, those present were anything but united, with Nintendo getting the chance to speak first and wasting no time in putting the blame squarely on Sega's lack of internal policy.
Dick move, Nintendo. But yeah, he goes on in this video about basically how they end up telling both companies to, take care of your shit and give them a slap on the wrist. But Nintendo tried to play it off like it's all Sega's fault, which definitely bad on Nintendo. But Nintendo's always been a little bit shady and weird, in my opinion. Thoughts?
Yeah, a little shady, but I mean, come on. Mario 2, that was pretty awesome.
Mario 2, the reskin of another game.
I mean, yes.
Mario 3 was where it was at, okay? They even bring up Mario 3 in this video. That was one of the first games that impressed me, but...
Which one had the raccoon tail?
That was Mario 3.
Yeah, that one was the best.
You can turn into a statue with the raccoon tail. Awesome.
Was it Tanuki?
That was the bear.
Yep, you got it in one.
Introduce kids to being furries. What that game was.
That's not what I didn't get.
I mean,
What
hey,
are you
they,
talking about? You
if
got
they-
the
Maybe
frog
now.
suit, you got the bear suit, you got the raccoon ears. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, man. It was a precursor. That was
Yeah.
proto furry. Right
I
there.
mean,
mean, yeah.
y'all guys remember when Pokemon was called bad because it had gambling in it, and people thought that would turn their kids into gambling addicts? I mean, come on, like.
Have you looked at the kids today?
Have you looked at the,
They
have
are
you
all
looked at the
addicted to that.
games today?
I mean, I'm-
Jeez. You try to be
Yeah,
like,
fair
no, this
enough.
isn't gambling, microtransactions. But we have
I
not.
just don't understand how they're all cool with microtransactions, like Candy Crush, like any of that type of stuff. But yes, like Pokemon, that was too much.
That wasn't real money though, man. Come on.
So
You know, we were just talking
Yeah.
about that tonight. My girlfriend and I, with her son. We have two 15-year-old boys. We're talking about the amount of money that they pissed away on Fortnite. Like, he was like, "Well, how much?" I'm like, "You could have had a car. Like, between the two of you, probably like a luxury car over the course of like 2 years.
yeah,
like,
like
just-
real economy.
Like,
Oh.
easily a mortgage, something could have gotten paid with that money.
Yep.
And now it's FIFA. Or, I don't know.
FIFA. FIFA's making a return.
Well, the one plays FIFA, the other one plays like GTA and God of War. He's a big God of War fan.
Oh,
I made him play Last of Us.
part 1 or 2.
I'm assuming part 2.
I made him
Solely
play
part
both.
2.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
you wanted to punish him with Last of Us 2. Be like,
Yeah,
this
but
is going to be your future if you don't shape up, kiddo.
I wanted to see his reaction to it, and I knew when he was getting to like the I mean, I guess I wouldn't be spoiling this game for anybody, but I knew when he was getting to the Joel part, and I was outside of his door. I was like, "God, see that any second," and then it was just sighs and groans coming out of his room for the next like couple of days.
Wow.
But then he was like, he said he liked it after all. He said he liked the
Oh,
gameplay.
God.
well, he's probably been turned woke by the casual lefties on
Yeah.
Otaku.
No blue hairs in my house.
Well, you draw the line there. Wow.
That's right.
J-Mac got Dev to go Mohawk. That was quite interesting. Something you wouldn't know about Anna Waifu. You should attract him if you ever do streaming, you want Big Mac, J-Mac to sponsor you. Official uncle of Stitch and Adam show. But yeah,
I think he's the official father. I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
Daddy J-Mac?
yes.
Surrogate
Okay.
father or something.
And there's uncles,
Yeah.
you know. That man drops. That man must be rich, and he's got some retro games out the ass. Probably should have invited
Yes.
him on, but I
I am
haven't seen
jealous
him
of
on
his
a stream.
collection.
Plus, he has a life. He has a kid, a wife.
Yeah.
You're
You
saying
know.
gamers don't have lives, Vince? That's what you're saying?
That just means
saying
they have less
obviously
time to
he
game.
makes big bucks,
Come on.
so
Mm.
he's probably sleeping.
Yeah, and he's a super nice guy too. On top of it all, Like,
Yeah.
Oh
he's
yeah,
not
I'm
just
sure
like
he is.
a flashy dude. He's just like a good. Like I never
Mhm.
see him like shit on anyone, or it's like always.
No. He's a
You
Yeah,
don't,
benevolent
me.
Lord
you don't
Emperor.
watch enough Stitch and Adam. Occasionally,
No, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he calls people out, but he's not like a dick about it. You know what I mean? He's not bad
Generally
faith.
Unlike Synthetic Man, I guess, because he
Yeah.
bullshit.
sorry. Stitch and Adam fans here mostly. I'm probably the biggest one, but who knows? But yeah, we have the console wars. They talk about Nintendo. I have this
Nice.
marker.
Adaptive modding, and it was estimated
We get into Doom. I even had a cut
Oh hell yeah.
on mine, but yeah, Doom. I keep wanting to say Dune.
was
That's
gonna
sci-fi.
say,
Yes,
yeah.
I know.
Dude.
Hey, it's Jab.
Yeah,
Hey.
one of those things sucks.
that by late 1995, it was installed on more computers worldwide than Microsoft's latest Windows
Oh, it
operating
was
system.
Such a good game.
Doom was a gaming phenomenon, and it only achieved that level of success because underneath its demon-infested exterior and innovative technology was a really well-made game that used far
Okay. I really wish
Not
I
to
had.
mention-
the
Rage.
soundtrack. Like I could hear that soundtrack right now. Like it is iconic and amazing.
It is definitely. They had excellent marketing and they cut out the middleman. Definitely was for its time a revolutionary game. Plus, he goes on to talk about the shareware program, which was direct down, like before the direct download. And,
Yeah.
and it was, I mean, I think that number is deceptive because of Keurig's sort of claim that it was on more PCs. And 95, but it was Windows 95 that was on more PCs, and that was even only like a 1 million or something. So to say that it was popular among gamers, I'm sure everyone who considered themselves a PC gamer at the time at least had the shareware, and probably a lot of them, don't know the number, probably bought it after playing it for a bit just because of how awesome it was for the time.
Doom was primarily a PC game, right? Like it didn't come out on consoles till way later.
I think
I
it
remember
was Doom
yeah.
3. I could be wrong. I think they might have did
I think it
a
was the
Doom
Xbox one that was the first
360.
one.
I think they might have actually ported Doom 3D to the Nintendo 360. I'm sorry, 64.
Okay, did they?
The
Maybe.
N64.
I don't know for sure, but I vaguely remember something like that.
Okay. I could totally be wrong. I just thought they had like, an anti-blood thing, which was why the whole like, paintball version of GoldenEye, but I could totally be misremembering that.
I kind of remember that too.
But I loved this game, and it would have been great if this was on a console. But no, this was kind of, you had to be a gamer back then.
Yeah, we used to hang out with like the one nerd kid just to go to his house and play this.
Yeah.
Well, you guys must have been further. You guys must be older. I remember Quake 3, going over to a friend's house as a kid to play Quake 3 on his LAN because internet wasn't a thing. He brings up later, only like 6% of American households in the 2000s had internet connection.
I remember LAN parties.
It was up to like over 60%
weird.
after 2010. So yeah, I'm really thinking the 90s was the boom. I mean, there might have been a stagnation and there might have been bumps along the way, like Anna so weirdly put, that there was some bumps along the way, like that Senate hearing, basically violent games. That was a continuous trend among the whole 90s that probably did hurt the gaming industry among parents and respectful sort of like
kind of
gamer
every industry.
I don't know about that because it definitely put a dent like initially, but I can remember when that happened, and it to the parents obviously, and of course the nervous parents, it did take effect, and they were the ones with the with the wallet ultimately, but to the kids, when they put that sticker on these fucking games, we were like, oh,
that's the one you want.
Yeah, that's like
that's the good one.
Yeah, it was the same thing. It was the same thing when you were going to pick out like a new CD or something. It was like you were looking for that box. It was like the black and white parental advisory
explicit
box.
Lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. MA or something, mature audiences. And holy shit, that was the game. So I mean, I think initially it did put a dent, but I think it's actually what made everyone go wild over it. And then as those kids like myself grew up. Effect. Yeah. Well,
exactly.
It's the takeaway, but as those kids who it was taken away from grew up, they became the young adults who, basically, I feel probably powered the whole industry as far as purchase power. The casual commercial gamer came to save it.
That's what got me looking at the other consoles other than like Nintendo, because they seem to be more violent. Like I don't know, like the Sega version of Mortal Kombat, like actually had blood and stuff.
Yeah, I remember Mortal Kombat with the blood mod. This was a few years afterwards, and it didn't quite work out. I never really played it, although I was more of a Sega person. I've switched. I'm not one of these people who are a loyalist. Like I'm not. I used to have I have a Xbox 360 right next to me up here, but I have a PlayStation 4 downstairs. But I'm shifting more to the gaming PC gaming nowadays. Not that I play too much on the PC, but a good amount. But yeah, also what Patrick was talking about. We were going to see South Park, bigger when I was younger. Tried to get into the South Park movie, bigger, and I think we were underage, so a reporter came up and be like, "Why are you trying to see this movie?" It's like local news trying to interview us. I found that funny. We were like, "Yeah, it's South Park. It's cool." Same sort of thing there. But yeah, they do mention in this that the adult appeal made Sega sort of have a bump up in this era. So I'm guessing this is all before you were still a little kid. I was probably a little bit older than you, Anna Waifu.
Mm-hmm.
You remember any of this stuff here?
I just want to say I wish I listened to my dad as a kid because he was very strict when it came to violent stuff, and especially when I was getting into gaming as a kid. You know, he made sure he looked at all those boxes, looking at the ratings, and I remember I was like, man, I'm going to rebel against him. I'm going to play a violent game.
Yeah.
So I went over to a friend's house and I played God of War 3 for the first time ever, and I was scarred. Because I didn't play Doom or any of
Changed your
that as a
life.
kid. Oh, yes, it did. And Postal 2 and all that. Oh, my God. I wish I did not play that as a kid.
I remember Manslaughter. That's something that does not come up in the video. That had
Those
a huge
are
backlash.
kind of both like the predecessors to Doom, but I kind of view Doom as like the proto that type of game. It was extremely violent, but yeah, those were a little bit more over the top. Although you could get some of the same effect with a chainsaw in Doom, but yeah, just not as realistic with those graphics.
Well, they bring up a lot of things on the console war. I'm gonna truck us along the history, like how the JRPGs weren't respected, and they even bring up basically that Square at the time, now Squaresoft, sort of betrayed Nintendo and went with PlayStation because of the disc thing for Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, here's a little section here.
Didn't even get released.
What are we?
And I will let that play on mute. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII. This is also why I wanted to make my own cut with this. Would help if I actually paused it. Oh, look at the wonderful commercial.
Man, I love Final Fantasy VII. I haven't played
Hallmark
the game in
movies.
years.
Its story and sense of adventure resonated with players of the time in a way that few other games ever had. Final Fantasy VII sold over 10 million copies, eventually going on to become the PlayStation's joint best-selling game of all time. For Sony, it was the PlayStation's killer app, and they didn't even need to do anything to get it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII got me into JRPGs way long ago. Of course, I went back and played a lot of the older Final Fantasy. Sort of kicking myself I never finished Final Fantasy VI, but played a lot of the earlier ones. Chrono Trigger, definitely an excellent game.
Okay, Vince, do you know what Golden Sun is? Do you know what that game is?
Golden Sun, no, can't say.
Oh, well, that's
Sorry.
another JRPG, and I played it on the Game Boy Advance, and it was freaking awesome.
See, I was
And,
never a Game Boy person.
Oh, well, there's also Dark Dawn, which is on the DS, which is the thing I played more of as a kid, and those are, in my opinion, those are way better than Final Fantasy, because they're...
Okay.
Because you know how in Final Fantasy you summon all this, or in other JRPGs you summon everything, right? And it's like, I don't want to do that shit. Well, in Golden Sun, it encourages you to use like these things called Jin, which are basically like your little summon
I like
tokens.
Gen. Actually, no, I don't. I like
No, what?
vodka. I like vodka or rum. Sorry.
No, not that kind of Jin. But I would recommend Golden Sun. It's a very underrated series, but that's the first JRPG I ever played, and I recommend it. It's really good.
It sounds like a James Bond game.
No, it's not. It's so far from that.
I'd play that.
Yeah, they go.
I would too. James Bond JRPG.
Anything among you other guys talk about never into the JRPGs?
I
Patrick?
totally remember Chrono
Yeah.
Trigger. That was awesome. And then, yeah, definitely Final Fantasy VII. I know there were some other ones, but I didn't have any of them really. I think the first one I owned was Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, didn't go back like me or continue with it because Final Fantasy X was
nah,
also epic in so many ways. 13 was the miss
Yeah.
for me. What? 10?
I
Fantasy
didn't play all of
13.
them. They were kind of sporadic.
So the one with the emo kids in there or something? Or is that 15?
The 8 had the emo kids, but that
It
was
wasn't-
my favorite.
Wasn't 15 the
Well-
one that had like the black-haired kids in there or something? I didn't. I played like
That's
10 minutes of
15.
it.
I'm saying
Yeah,
13.
13.
15 was okay. It was just underwhelming personally. It was like, this is good. The combat's good. But
I never played
I've
6 though. Everyone keeps telling me that one's the best one though.
I've never
I'm
played
a-
all of them.
well, neither have
There's
I.
too many.
Well,
There's too many.
And
I
it just
tried-
that was too much. It's just too much.
Which game are they on
Too
by this point? 20?
Final
30?
Fantasy 16 now. It's
Oh
not
my
out
God.
yet. It looks
Too
awesome.
many.
Okay, don't let me get hyped. Like, I was doubtful about Starfield also there for a while because after 76, I am very skeptical of not Blizzard. They're the other. I'm beyond skeptical of them using the diversity codex to create their new characters. Bethesda, since I'm a Maryland boy, I grew up around Bethesda. I had a friend who was into video games who wanted to work for Bethesda, but he gave up on the his gaming, and he sort of became a sociologist, ethics, business bullshit. He's sort of like a freaking. He's not a leftist, but he's like a Bernie bro, and he's annoying about environment. Always raving about Trump. I wish people would shut up about Trump.
Who are you
There's some
talking about?
Anger
A
issues
friend
over
of
there.
mine. Sorry, I took a way tangent. I had a friend who was into video games, wanted to become a
Oh.
developer. He sort of has a collection that would rival J-Max, if you ever seen any of his Twitter posts. He even has like a Virtual Boy. Dude's a hardcore collector, but not much of a gamer nowadays.
Do you remember the Virtual Boy at all, Patrick?
Was that the little robot thing?
No, that's
No.
Rob.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm
looks
it was
sorta
like a
the
helmet
robot thing.
contraption.
It was like red, I think.
Yeah,
it red?
everything was
Yeah.
red through it,
was-
and you had to. It was kind of like binoculars, but it was on a tripod, and you kind of looked into. It was very strange.
It was a prototype
So
to VR.
yeah, if
basically.
it's not jogging the memory, you probably wouldn't remember it. But
Yeah, I think
bad,
I missed that.
bad
I,
design.
No,
I
that
remember
was a
the-
failure.
I remember the glove, the Nintendo
Oh,
glove.
Power Glove. Hey,
I
remember
Power
remember
Glove?
that stupid
Power Glove.
movie with the kid from the Wonder Years. There was a
Yeah,
Power Glove movie.
They even had a cartoon, like
Fred
the
Fred
Nintendo
Savage.
cartoon, Zelda,
Yeah.
Mario Brothers, and they had the kid
Oh,
with the
sure.
Power Glove cartoon.
Yeah,
The movie was probably
yeah. That dude
adapting-
also had the Power Glove.
But
Yeah,
cartoons were
How
crazy.
old are y'all? Y'all are making me feel old because I
I'm
know what
pretty
this
old.
stuff
I'm
is.
probably the oldest one here. I'm certainly. I
I'm
would
probably the
imagine the
youngest
greatest.
out of all these guys.
In my early 20s, and I feel old. I wasn't even freaking.
I'm
born
probably
in the
double.
90s.
I'm probably double whatever you got going on. I'm 45. I was born in 78.
Oh
so
wow!
holy shit! Right?
You didn't look
Whoa.
Wow.
in like your 40s today. You look too young.
Wow, that was all the alcohol.
Well, we have a
It's
diversity
tickled me.
of opinions in here. I'd like to have a range. This is also why I wanted to try to get some people to come on. But unfortunately, my special guest is going to fail.
God, the Virtual Boy. I can't believe I know what that is.
I only know about it because my friend's a collector, and I like blew the dust off of it and tried it.
Yeah, I found it like years later. One of my friend's older brothers had it, and it's like, what? What is that thing? You could. There were like no real games for it, if I remember right. There was like a Mario Tennis thing. I don't know. Maybe he
There
just
was,
didn't
like
have any
3
games,
games. I think there was 5
Yeah.
games in total, but yeah, practically
for
none.
it. It was. Yeah, I had only heard about it in legend, and then I actually saw it in person. It's like, what? No, I need to plug that thing in now. Like, got to play that thing.
Yeah, I just
Anyway,
looked it
it was
up.
not good.
I have no memory of this thing whatsoever. I would have fucking remembered that.
Okay, let's move on then.
Looked like a vacuum or something you put on your head.
It's like
Yeah.
it was like a prototype to VR basically, and it sold like shit. That's what it was.
And it did not put you into a different world at all.
No.
It was bad.
It just
False
gave you cancer.
advertisement. Bullshit.
Just
my
gave you
friend used to
brain
have
tumors.
Rob, actually. My friend used to have like a little Rob toy or something. I don't know where I don't know if he still has it, but God, I
Things
don't.
were awesome.
What was it? Like, what did it do? Like, was it just like a gaming buddy? Like, I don't know what it
Yeah,
did.
I don't remember either. It
Yeah,
was
I
a
don't think
gimmicky
it did
thing, I
anything.
think. We have winners and losers. They talk about Dreamcast, which is sort of disappointing. It was a good system, I think, but it just failed. Had some decent games. Now let's get into Pokemon and see what before Anna falls asleep. I heard you yawning, Ann.
Because I had dinner before we started. Oh boy. The first game I ever played.
Pokemon released in 1996 in Japan, 1998 in
Right.
America, and
I
1999 in
graduated
Europe.
high school.
It was inspired by creator Satoshi
mom gave it
Tajiri's
to me.
childhood hobby of collecting insects, but upon hearing the idea for the game, Nintendo were initially skeptical. In the end, it was
I have to say the same thing happened with Dark Souls or Demon Souls originally. They were skeptical of that series also. It's always the one you're the innovators. Not that I think Pokemon's that great.
I don't
ports from
think so
Shigeru
either.
Miyamoto that helped get the game off the ground, with the Game Boy's link cable-enabled multiplayer acting as a major influence in creating a game focused on collecting and trading rather than being lifetime sales for the game that didn't stop at the games. An anime, a card game, merchandise, accessories, movies, spin-offs, sequels, and more, all in mere months as the franchise grew and grew, with children all around the world doing whatever they could to get their hands on anything and everything Pokemon.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Yeah, that was a craze. I never really got into it because I think my mom hoarded the Game Boy. I got a Game Gear, I think, or something like that. Something like a Game Gear, but that died in a fire sometime when I was a little kid. But yeah, Pokemon really.
It was a revolution.
It was a revolution. Even South Park made fun of it. Chin Pokemon.
Yeah.
How they got away with doing all that. We have small dicks. That's how they got away with that.
Yeah,
Pokemon, that changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Changed the whole world.
I really got gaming back on its feet was Pokemon. It was like one of the biggest franchises ever back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, definitely. So you as a youngling, who wasn't killed by Anakin Skywalker in the Temple Raid, got away and kept being a Pokemon fan. Now you hate it. Declinism. But I can understand, given what's brought up in this about Nintendo, I understand the disdain, just like I understand the disdain for Bethesda. I'm surprised CD Projekt Red didn't have more after Cyberpunk 2077. People are okay on it now. They're still probably skeptical, but it was quite a mess. Yep. I invited Thunderstruck to come on the stream to talk it out with Ann, but no reply. He might have me blocked because he's a little bit of a bitch.
Yeah, I know he made another video. I don't care about talking about it.
We already made fun of his other video, which basically
who's this guy?
He's made videos about me. He's an idiot.
He's one of this mob.
What's his thing?
Being an idiot online.
Stan.
He's what?
Maybe he does have a crush on it. I think maybe he has a secret crush on you. Same thing with Big Country. They both did 2 videos on you. The rest of the people sort of quit after 1. Maybe you intimidate them. Stop being so intimidating to men, Anna. You're going to create simps of your own.
Okay.
Because I basically was like, Thunderstruck, we covered your video. It was a joke. Why don't you come on and talk it out with Ann? But no response.
I mean, I was willing to, so it's kind of him being the little,
You can say the B word.
Shy.
Oh.
Shy, okay.
Yeah,
you are intimidating.
What do we remember from that stream, kids? He either agreed snarkily with Anna, either completely missed the point, beyond the point. I mean, I thought Krillix missed the point, but Thunderstruck he shot to the moon with some of the points he was trying to make.
It's really bad.
It was horrible, but it was almost so horrible it was funny. At least we were laughing. So great clown of that man. And then he makes a response. I'm not even gonna watch it. Okay. Oh, the bitches they none of them took me up on my offer to come on. So fuck them. Whole bunch of bitch ass losers who just try to make fun of people, so people don't realize how stupid they really are. That's my personal opinion. I think it might have some merit though.
Feel like you might be holding back a little bit.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us what you really feel?
Yeah.
Damn, Vince. He's really reaching to his dark side.
Oh, trust me. Gray's probably right. I've just been looking at what the doofuses have done. They probably don't do stuff like watch huge videos like this. I watched this whole video and I picked out little points to actually just for a stream with you guys. And I'm not even going to cover much of it. Okay, this is how I take actually video making and research. It might not sound like it half the time, but I do my research. I know my shit. It doesn't come. I don't sound intelligent, but shit like this and jokers who think they know so much, but it's just laughable to me. I swear.
Yeah, they don't know shit. Fuck those
Probably
guys.
not. But neither do you, Patrick. Okay, we're gonna.
Well, I don't know shit about this, but I know plenty about some other things.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hey, don't be so mean to Patrick. He's got a nice STV back there. You better respect him.
Yeah. Plus the cardigan. The cardigan at least gets like +4 respect.
Yeah.
He's got a
isn't
nice
that
ass
the
house,
bonus
ain't he?
stat. But yeah, go over Nintendo, the golden age. He's calling this the golden age.
It was the golden age in the 90s.
The
early
90s?
2000s.
Oh, of course. He also
It's
brings
pretty
up
golden.
well, I like the golden Persona, but I was never a Pokemon fan, but Persona, the Shin Megami Tensei series, that hit my bone. Edgy Pokemon.
Edgy Pokemon.
Well, they had a whole bunch of gods and other lore. Really cool. And they have sort of, you could take different paths. I think generally there was 3 paths, like the god path, the nihilistic path, and like the strongest path. Definitely the weak, the strong rules the weak, the god path, and another path. It's been a while. Hasn't been a while since I played it, but I don't consider it too much.
You know, Vince, that's something you and Synthetic Man would agree on. He thinks Shin Megami Tensei is better than Pokemon, so...
Oh, damn. Stop reminding me. I probably share more in common. I don't come up with his schizo rants on my streams that gets Twitter to come down my throat. So, yeah.
You're getting kind of close.
I am, Gray. I am. Where did I go schizo?
That's some of the demon inside of him.
I'm just speaking the truth, okay?
How long have we been streaming?
Oh, I don't even know, like an hour probably.
What?
Well, that's about how long?
38 minutes.
My timer says 38 minutes.
There you go.
Okay, about that long today.
Cut away 5 minutes for the 3 of us talking.
Yes. Speak. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's any more relevant. So they just go over the console wars because I do tend to get into Gamergate before Anna falls asleep.
But if anybody cares, which I'm pretty sure they don't, the first game I've ever played was Pokemon Red because my mom gave me her old Game Boy that she used to play, and I would play that all the time. Doesn't work anymore, sadly.
Was it when you say old Game Boy? Was it a Game Boy Color?
Is that the one where it was like a greenish tinge?
Nope, that was the original Game Boy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the one I had.
Okay.
No, it was like gray, right? The original one was like gray and
so
blue.
they had some color, but like the screen was kind of greenish.
Oh
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
straight
I
up
got
like
you.
black and white one.
Yeah, I remember Tetris and shit on there.
I wish it still worked, but it
I
doesn't.
love Tetris on that one.
It was so funny putting the little cartridges in the back of it, like
That was so satisfying. That was so
Oh,
satisfying for cartridges back
that
there.
click. Click.
Remember my mom getting on my ass about that because I would just sit at the dinner table on board and I would click the cartridge up and down and things. She was like, "Oh my god, stop doing that!" I'm sorry.
Well, that's what.
So what was your first like console one then?
Console?
Like what? Yeah, like what generation would it have been? Like
Hmm.
PS2? Like
You saying you never had a console? You were always PC gamer?
No, not even close. Because all my consoles were hand-me-downs. I think the first console I've ever played
fair
was the
enough.
PS3 that my cousin gave me, and that's when I played Dead Space
Nice.
and all that stuff. And then I had a PS2 and all that. Like all the consoles I had were hand-me-downs except for the Game Boy Advance and the Wii and a DS, but all the other ones were from other people. But
Nice.
first console I ever played was the PS3.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
That was like not too many.
I
PSs
also had
ago.
hand-me-down ones, but yeah, that's true. But yeah, I remember the original one, the PS1, before it was called the PS1. It was just the PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was super advanced technology for the day.
Yes.
It actually had these weird black CDs. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, that thing was pretty sick. It like
Back in the day, it was.
you put a disc in and it would like make a particular noise. It was like a hum.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay.
When it
Yeah,
got old enough,
got up
it
to
would
right
be
RPMs.
annoying hum.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
you wait about four to 5 minutes for it just to get warmed up.
I remember getting in trouble when I was a kid when I
Control-
turned the PlayStation 2 on when I wasn't supposed to. It made that loud bong noise, and oh my god, I got in trouble.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Late at night, it's supposed to be in bed.
Everyone died.
My
I mean,
dad
I
came
wasn't.
in.
I didn't have that same exact problem. It was usually I was waking up a girlfriend or something, but the same principle. Like, I was like, why? Why did they do this? It's like Netflix, you know? They turn on Netflix in the middle of the night.
Wake up the whole house. I used to spend
Ba-dong.
many late night games. I got into World of Warcraft with one girlfriend a while ago, and I got addicted to that. Then there
Oh,
was
no.
Battlefield
Sounds
4.
unbelievable. I don't know.
There was
Poor soul.
Battlefield
Girlfriend got you into
4.
World of Warcraft.
What, that I had a girlfriend or I played World of
No,
Warcraft?
Did you
No,
play
the girlfriend got you into World of Warcraft.
Yeah, you got
I don't
addicted.
know. Either one of those things are okay, but when you put it together, a little fantastical there. I think you
Okay,
highly
sprinkled in a
unbelievable,
little bit of.
understand. Me have a girlfriend. I
This is,
believe that's unbelievable. Okay.
It's a recent girlfriend, or
No, this was a while ago. World of Warcraft, I haven't played that in like years.
I don't
Oh,
even know. Is it still a game? Do people still play that?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
in
there's a
decline.
pretty strong community.
Not
Yeah.
really. I think it's just been in decline. I mean, some people went back for the classic since Blizzard. I think I brought that up in my video that the backlash was so strong because they were just dumbing down the system of World of Warcraft in the main game, that a lot of the fans were like, give us classic. So they just made classic. And it was pretty cool.
Well, yeah,
I-
you guys had World of Warcraft, freaking losers. I had Wizard 101.
You're calling us the losers? Wizard 101?
Yeah, it
That's
was like
like
a-
bragging about being the coolest kid at the Penguin Co. or something like that.
Oh my god, that game was so freaking bad.
I'm sure.
I mean, as
I
a
don't
kid, I
know.
thought it was awesome.
No matter what's
I can't play
Hey, it's
online
Jeff
games
Bridges.
now.
Jeff Bridges. Why were you excited? Yeah,
I
it's
am
Jeff-
always excited to see Jeff Bridges. It's the dude.
Oh. Old marble mouth.
Oh, yeah. He was Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right?
No, that's,
that's Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. They all look alike.
Half-Life 2, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, the DS. Oh,
I did want to get to the. I think it seems like Nintendo are the ones who brought in the casuals with the Wii to the gaming market. So another reason for you to be against it.
God,
Even
dude, the
mentions it.
DS. The old DS where you could put Game Boy Advance cartridges in there. Oh my god, I remember that.
Well, I only
I had
got
a
the
silver one.
I only got the DS for my RPGs, like the Shin Megami games, like the tactical
But-
game Demon Survivor 2. Oh,
This is so nostalgic.
So what's the difference again? Because I was just like chatting in a little bit the other night with the casuals, and what do you call not
Mhm.
casuals again?
Gamers.
And they're all gamers.
I don't know. I don't think there's. I guess like hardcore gamer. I don't know. There's not really
Okay.
a word for hardcore.
And how do we
gamers.
determine the difference again?
Well, one plays more games than the other, and into gaming culture and all that kind of stuff. Like you're invested in gaming, you know. Like it's like I
I'm
know
sorry, I'm not
freaking-
trying
I
to
know
put
I'm
you
a
on the
freaking
spot.
loser. Okay, I'm into gaming. Okay.
Anna,
There's nothing about that makes you a loser. I mean, I'm older than you, and games were not popular when I was young, like really not popular.
Yeah.
But none of us were losers for really playing them. We just hung out with the kids who played them.
It was
you
just,
hung
way
out
more
with losers to
niche.
play them. Oh, Synthetic Man
Yeah,
is a
very
goof. Says hello to you, Anna.
Oh hi.
Don't you
Is
love
that-
that name?
Is that what you actually named your profile, or is that just a shit thing? Shit
I have
post?
no clue. Someone probably. It's a good name. Wouldn't you agree? Synthetic Man's goofy.
I mean, no.
You like goofy though.
I do. It makes me laugh.
Okay, World of Warcraft. Yeah, that definitely it got popular at Wrath of the Lynch King, I think, was the height of popularity according to some charts I saw. But let's get into sort of did I get
as
to
was originally hoped. The launch lineup was nothing remarkable, with Call of Duty 2 and Perfect Dark Zero being the best-selling titles,
ballpark?
yet neither represented a true system seller. And so, with one console released, the field was wide open, with everything
Yeah.
still to play for.
Getting into the
2006 saw the PlayStation 3 being delayed from its earlier release date of spring to later in the year, while the 360 continued strong, adding more exclusive games to its
Oh.
library, including
You remember Dead Rising, any of you?
That was so fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, but got
I'm
boring
not
after
playing
a
it
while.
too much.
Oh, come on.
actually.
Cobbling together like weird chainsaw weapon. It was great.
It was great for a while, okay? It had no
For what it
lastability.
was.
Yeah, definitely
yeah,
for
I
what it
haven't
was a
revisited it.
great idea. I also got into Left 4 Dead for a while. I mean, that was
Yes.
a stupid game, but when you get into it,
Is that the one in the mall?
had some moments. I didn't actually even get into the Elder Scrolls series until probably Skyrim.
I didn't either.
Well,
I wasn't into that.
I played Oblivion a little bit at a friend's house. Skyrim was okay. I thought it was really good at the start, but then it started waning on me. I'm like, the magic sucks in it and a whole bunch of stuff. Everyone praises it. It's become a meme nowadays, deservedly.
Not enough sci-fi for you?
Yeah. You know
Seems
me.
a dash of fantasy.
I am disappointed in Outer Worlds because despite me going for bat for Fallout 3, I actually thought New Vegas was a better game overall. But I don't shit on Fallout 3 because I think it had its values. New Vegas was just better game overall. But it came later and blah
Better
blah
than
blah.
Fallout 3? Come on, Fallout 3 had Butch in it, dude. That makes it 10 times better.
Huh? Both games were extremely glitchy, but that's why some people, I don't give them too much shit for calling them Bethesda because they are famous for that.
The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Dead Rising, and Saints Row. Meanwhile, E3 that year brought Nintendo's big reveal, and reactions were mixed. The new name, the Wii, was widely mocked,
As
and the
it should have
showcasing
been.
of the new motion controls left audiences uncertain. For Nintendo and the gaming industry, this was a bold new direction, and no one seemed quite sure yet what the impact of this would be.
Man, that guy looks
One
really
thing
excited.
it did make clear, however, was that Nintendo wouldn't be in the competition for the most powerful next-gen system anymore, and would instead be finding success or failure through forging their own path. And so, attention returned to
Okay.
Oh,
It must
the
be in a
Wii.
different
It was a
part where they
choice.
talk about Nintendo catering to the casuals with stuff like the Wii. And another reason you probably hate Nintendo,
The
because they
Wii.
definitely did go for the kids and the casuals with a lot of their gimmicky stuff.
Wait,
Dude,
what's
the
wrong with
Wii brings
what's
back so
wrong
many
with Wii?
memories.
Nothing. It was just a gimmicky system. No one
I mean,
serious about
I
gaming.
don't know why anybody
Oh.
would ever have a problem.
Well,
love the
I,
Wii.
I'll tell
I
you
love the
why
Wii.
I had a problem. I had a pre-order of Twilight Princess for
You
the
have a spider Wii?
GameCube.
Patrick,
And then
us
they're like,
Wii
oh,
guy.
it's not coming out until the Wii comes out. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm just not going to buy Nintendo anymore. That was my breaking point for Nintendo. Twilight
Patrick,
Princess
Wii
was
gang.
pushed back. I still
Let me
don't
tell you
think I
something.
played Twilight Princess. I don't think I
played Wii.
played any Zelda. I was a Zelda fan up until that happened. Then I was like, fuck this series. Fuck Nintendo. Thank God I had Shin Megami Tensei. Atlas had some
Skyward Sword
interesting
wasn't the breaking
games.
point. That was a
That
pretty
was
bad
like
game.
the DS though, right?
No, that was for the Wii, dude. And the meme is
I
that the most
said I
controls
gave
are so
up on
bad.
it. I gave up
Why,
on it and
dude?
the Wii generation.
For
Just
the
because I said
Wii,
fuck
dude.
Nintendo. Yeah, go Wii. I think I played like with my nieces and nephews. I think I played some Mario Kart and party
Yeah.
games. Who
Let me just tell you,
knows?
I play Mario Kart probably twice a week with my girlfriend. It's like we have the best fucking time playing it.
Oh my
We
god.
play.
dude.
We've
It
had
is
like
pretty awesome.
full competitions, like all the way through every race, like keeping track of our how many cups and everything, and like we're both really good. We're really good.
Glad you're good at a sucky game.
Hey,
I mean,
hey,
that's
hey,
subjective, isn't it?
hey.
We've been getting
Hey.
pleasure out of it for
I like Twisted
7
Metal.
years of a
That was just
relationship.
destroy.
You know, you're not a true Mario Kart gang until you had the actual wheel for the Wii. Did anyone have the wheel? Like the actual wheel? Do
A
y'all
lot of
remember
people
that?
have the wheel. I think who had the Wii.
She, my girlfriend used to have it, yeah, but we don't have it anymore.
I was
I
more of a
never
Smash
used-
Brothers fan. Here's what got me. And
The
I
Wii is so much nostalgia for me. Oh my god, I played that shit all the time after school as a kid.
this sort of
Anna,
pissed me off here.
Anna, you can't see it, but right next to that big TV, right in between there is a Wii.
Oh my god. I still have my Wii actually. It's a white color one and we still have like the nunchuck and everything. Oh my god. I need to break it out one day.
It's so much fun.
It is. I love Wii Sports and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Shut up, you casuals, okay? This is
Hey,
where it
look,
really
man.
started for me.
Is it casual? I've been playing that game
I don't know.
for 7 years, two nights a week.
Vince, it's 2 against 1, dude. The Wii was great.
Well, as I
awesome.
said, I have a good reason. They fucked me over with Twilight Princess.
They hurt your feelings.
Oh,
Yeah.
it hurts your feelings.
They hurt my fifis. They did.
I
I
didn't know
hold a
villains had
grudge.
feelings. No villains had feelings.
I have feelings. I just hide them and lash out to other people my feelings. But yeah, I got extremely into the Demon Souls, all that dark stuff. I guess all that satanic stuff from Shin Megami Tensei. And
You
I
heard of
was
Blood
on the
Rain?
Persona series before almost anyone else. Like, Persona's awesome before, and I'm like, I knew this a while ago. Shit, losers.
You ever heard
Coming
of Blood
into
Rain?
the fandom now, trying to say it's cool now. It's been cool for a while. It's cooler now. Bandwagon bullshit. But as you said, gatekeeping. How do I gatekeep that? But I hate fandoms in general. Like anime fandom. I like anime as a medium, but the fandom is cringe. And someone brought up how Homestuck sort of invaded conventions. I think I got out of going to conventions with that stupid Homestuck and just other people who had other fandoms that weren't cool enough to really put together a convention, invaded the anime conventions in Maryland. And how do you gatekeep that? How do you keep a massive mob of idiot kids out? I don't know. Sorry if I went on for too long.
I was just gonna add, do you like Blood Rain then? Because that's like a Souls type of game.
Blood Rain was cool. Okay, I didn't play it too much. There were several dark series during that era that I thought were really cool, but Souls is really what it drew me in, and that was one of my hardcore series. I think I went from Battlefield, playing a whole bunch of Battlefield games, to go into the Soul franchise. I've jumped around. I'm a fandom trader.
No loyalty.
Yeah,
Yep.
man, what the heck, dude?
And so absolutely no villainy. So what series besides Mario Kart of Patrick here, what series did you guys really get into in this sort of era? I mean, what's sort of your path down this?
You talking to me?
Everyone, let's start with Anne. You were a Pokemon fan. You play weird games now, I guess. You were a Minecraft baby, I guess.
Minecraft, baby.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, dude. Getting in trouble late at night screaming at a Minecraft noise as a kid.
Yeah.
I got in trouble a lot.
Minecraft. We got the Wii. Patrick on the Wii. What about you, Gray? Sort of too casual for any of this stuff, or just going retro?
The Wii isn't
Pretty much
casual.
retro. Wii's a little too casual for me. So
figured as
no,
much.
I'm just kidding. I'm no
Hubristic.
champion, and I don't have tournaments like Patrick, so I'm too much of a casual for the Wii.
I just have too many memories with it.
But I don't know. Like my first console was probably the PS1, but it was when it was still just the PlayStation. But I got a ton of like hand-me-down consoles, kind of like Anna was talking about. So I actually got an original Nintendo and so many games for it. And then same thing with the Super Nintendo. So I don't know. I definitely went back to a lot of those, but I was always into like computer games. So I don't know. Just it feels like every computer I ever had Doom on it. I remember playing that at the school computer lab.
Did you like the new Doom games? Did you like the new Doom games?
Which
2016
one?
And Affinity.
So like the Switch one
Eternal.
or whatever?
Was it on the Switch?
Yes. I think so. Anyway, that one was amazing. Yeah, I really did like it. I'm kind of casual on it. I got to like the last level and then never beat it. So
2016
Yeah.
or Eternal?
I want to say that was Eternal because I think that was newer than 2016. I think that was like, I don't know, 2018 or so. I don't know. I could look it up, but whatever the newest one was, that was the last one that I played. But yeah, I'm pretty casual now. Like, I think the last game I bought was probably like Portal, but that was to replay it like years later. So I don't know. Very, very casual at this point. Every once in a while I go back to retro and that's about it. But I think the last real console I had was like I can't even remember if it was PS3 or Xbox 360. Other than that, everything's just been computer.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. As much as I hate to say it, if I hear reviews for Starfield and it's not the usual mess, it's actually lives up to the hype, I'd probably get it for PC. I also want to go back. There's a remaster of System Shock. I sort of want
Well,
to.
I want to play that. I want to play that so badly, but
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to get it for a while.
I could probably get it now, but I try to limit myself. I don't jump on the shiny new thing.
'Cause
With,
it looks
of
really
course-
fun.
Of course, Elden Ring, of course, I jumped on that quickly enough because Souls fan, okay? Die Hard Souls. Souls life. The Doom Eternal fans. The only reason I played Doom is just to know what all the hype was. So I went back after dealing with all the Doom fanboys and trying to figure out what's so great about this game. And the conclusion I
The
came
soundtrack and the stress release, it's great, man. There is nothing
Did you
wrong
play
with
an Ultra Nightmare mode, man?
it. Oh, is there any other way to play?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if your life is not on the line, is it worth playing that game? Come on.
There's not enough cutscenes for me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Patrick's super casual. Wants all the cut scenes.
Why play the game? You can just watch the movie.
So,
Yeah.
do you want to have the cutscene discussion? What's your defense for cutscenes, Patrick? You seem to have been standing really hard.
Yeah.
It's when you take your bong hits.
Okay.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to reload.
Yeah,
man.
you take
Patrick's
your-
is a
you make-
drug
take a
man.
drink.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes it gets a little excessive, obviously, but I think it ties everything together. I mean, you have to remember that again, these games are made for people that grew up with the games as well, you know. And we used to have just such boring fucking games where you're just doing the same thing over and over and over, and the same move over and over and over again. So it's nice to have a little storyline tapped in there.
As long as that
Yes.
doesn't disrupt the gameplay too significantly. I think.
I mean, I'd rather watch a cutscene than watch the screen load for 10 minutes.
Wow, that's the one thing I need to actually play the RE because I was a big Resident Evil fanboy also back in the day. Not as they use
Yeah.
fanboys now, but I love the series. I wouldn't defend it if they did stupid stuff. Like Resident Evil 4, I love the game, but those quick time events, they were fucking annoying as all hell. Just
Okay. Well, how big of a fan are you? What about Resident Evil Survivor? Did you
I
like
think I
that one?
played it. No, it was that the arcade style shooter.
Yeah, but it was for whatever console.
played
Yeah,
Outbreak.
it was just super
I
weird.
played a lot of it. I played even Code Veronica, but I was a poor boy. I played it at my friend's house who had all the games. So yeah, Code Veronica. I played a lot at his house. I got a few myself. I kept up with it for a while. I even played
being slightly retro gaming. What did you think about the remakes of those for the what was that system called? The Easy Bake Oven one. The GameCube.
The Cube.
Yeah, the Cube.
They were solid enough.
What did you think about the Cube versions?
If you're talking about the original,
I thought it was like a huge improvement for graphics. Yeah. I think they did like 1 and 2. Like I can't remember if they went beyond that. I didn't own them.
Yeah, I remember Code's Resident Evil 0 also I played on the GameCube. I was a fan of the GameCube. Yeah. That's what I played Resident Evil 4 on. A bunch of Smash Brothers. Didn't get into the smelly Smash Brother tournament, people. I'm glad I didn't.
Smash Brothers was pretty awesome. Revolutionary for the time. It was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. So you're calling Wii casual, but the Easy Bake Oven wasn't?
No, not really. Because it actually had games for gamers.
Is it just the movement of the paddles that makes it for casuals?
It's just about the target marketing. Casuals, I mean, I've said this myself. Sometimes you get people casually into games and they get more invested into it and they start becoming better gamers, expanding. But there's some like Candy Crush, the Facebook style games. I consider those people to be more casuals than anyone else. People who play The Sims or those sort of games. Depends on how much they played and how seriously they take it. I have a very flexible definition for casual, but definitely the Flappy Bird, Angry Bird crowd. I consider those people who play games on their phones just while they're bored or when they're killing time. Or
I barely consider those gamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really gaming.
Okay. I would agree. That's what I would consider.
I don't think I put those in the same category as like Wii bowling, man. Wii bowling takes skills. You got to know when to like let go of the button. It's got arm movement involved. Come on.
As I said, I was really hard on the Wii, so I might be just very biased against anyone who plays a lot of those gimmicky Wii games. Sorry, just a bias of mine. I acknowledge that bias. Maybe it's more gamey than casuals, but you know, I'm fine with insulting them.
Like proto VR. Like, what do they do with VR? You always have 2 moving hand stick things. Come on, man.
I'm not going to hate on VR.
Are you against VR? Is VR for casuals now too?
At a certain point, VR is sort of gimmicky because of the games that are out. I don't think they're quite up to snuff. I would really love VR to really take it to the next level, but I don't know if that's going to happen unless the price comes down.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I got one for my kid. I got him an Oculus. Fucking loves it.
Oh,
but then he'll put it down for like a while. But these kids have everything. They got the one kid's got like a couple $1,000 gaming computer. I didn't buy it. It's not my kid. But my kid's got he's got the most recent PlayStation 3, 4? 4.
Yeah.
He's got 4.
Well, 5. We're on PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah, that's I have to get that next. But thank Christ, he just said, I'd rather get the PS5 than the gaming computer we were supposed to build this summer. I was like, oh yeah.
I would rather have a gaming computer, but
yeah, no shit. But I'd rather not spend $800 more.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to blame you.
But so he's got the PS4 now, which was mine, and then the Xbox One. What was it?
I don't know.
It's like it's like a tower. Looks like a refrigerator Xbox.
That's all of them, though. Okay, the one where they wrote the Kotaku article. It has too many holes in it.
I don't know. It's the Series X or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
But it's the best one. I don't.
Oh.
And he's got it all hooked up on a monitor in there on a desk. So he's
bring up the failure
right.
of the Wii. That stupid. Let's watch for a sec. I forget what they call it. The controller thing. He has a sort of montage here.
What the
A very casual game that's very misleading. what is this called? Does anyone remember this big controller-like thing? I meant the Sega Dreamcast had something like that, like a little monitor in it. Yeah, that thing. Do I have to play it so we all get refreshed?
I
Bridging the
remember the
gap between the
Dreamcast
two groups.
controller, but I don't remember what it actually did. That weird little window in it.
Core audiences, and that it should also include a new innovative feature that could appeal to families
Oh,
and
the
Wii
Wii
fans,
U.
hence the tablet-like
Oh,
controller.
Wii U. Oh, okay, don't
This
wonder.
controller
that
wasn't as
fucking thing. We got a
revolutionary as the
couple of
Wii's
those,
motion
too.
control had been, though, as tablet
hate the
users
Wii U.
already gained popularity.
Yeah, he basically says it's a failure. They had
Playing Minecraft on the Wii U was the worst experience I have ever had playing a game. It was so awful.
That's funny because playing Minecraft is the worst experience I've ever had.
Hey.
That's not a
Minecraft's
game.
It's
fun,
teaching the
got
next
mud.
generation to,
Get the
know,
fucking job.
mine.
Oh, if you go with Thought Slime, you could turn that into a virtual reality game. People can mine for free because they want to
Shocked
play.
I don't use Minecraft
game.
gameplay in my videos.
Anna, you are so lucky you don't get into political content. It's just so cringe. It can be funny under the right circumstances.
Minecraft
pretty
and political
gross.
content.
No Thought and Thought Slime. Oh, you do not want to know.
Man, those are some
Minecraft.
pretty
And
classic games, though.
And I do want to bring up, of course, bread tubing. I think that was almost a reaction to Gamergate, something that came as a reaction to Gamergate. I got some videos here. Of course, Call of Duty.
Could be,
No one's
but,
going to deny it. Also,
It
Batman.
definitely could be a reaction to that, but I don't know. Like, everything was kind of...
Yeah.
I think that was just kind of the tip of the spear. Like, everything was kind of happening at the same time. But we can get to that when we get to that.
Actually, Smash on the Wii U wasn't that bad. I remember it being kind of fun. How you can use the gamepad to do the Smash pass thing or whatever that was. Or
Yeah.
just like...
Smash or pass.
No. Like, the second I said that, I was like, oh, someone's gonna make a joke.
So, what kind of games are you playing?
Oh no, it was a
Yeah, I don't
board-
remember
it was like
that
a board
one.
game or something like that. Like there was this
Learn to
mode.
code. Learn to code. Sorry.
Oh my god!
The children, they yearn for the mines.
Yeah, send them to the mines.
Send them to. Oh,
I actually did like Call of Duty for a while, but I don't know. It really wasn't for me.
There's
That's
no
more for the
Fortnite for you?
synthetic fan. No, not synthetic man. That's for the Griffin Gaming fanboys. Okay.
You know what's weird? I never watched the Griffin Gaming. Like I watched a little bit of his streams, but I never watched his actual content.
Well, that's because he's more of a commentator than a video game person. You should see him trying to defend Doom Eternal from all the criticism it was getting.
Mhm.
Personally, I think the criticism was a little bit harsh. I could understand it after playing the game, but I didn't necessarily agree with it. Like the
I
Marauder.
don't. There is nothing to criticize in that game. It was perfect.
There is
How dare
plenty
you.
to criticize in every
Nope.
game.
Perfect
Nope.
score. Perfect everything. I'm sorry. Like, it was
Okay,
great.
you're just
Hey.
a contrarian.
Hey Vincent, hot take here, but I disagree with Synthetic Man's take on Doom Eternal. At least some of it. I know that's a hot take for you.
No,
Me too.
as I said, I don't think it was a bad game. I think it was rather good. I like 2016, but that had more realistic. Oh, he has this little montage where they conflate the new Xbox One of them. Who cares? Who cares about Xbox? Supposedly
Oh,
they were
poor
the losers
Xbox.
in that. Supposedly they're coming back with a vengeance now.
Oh god, friggin' Clash of Clans. I remember my friend actually got banned from that game because he spent so much money in it that he was buying everything.
Oh, my
Oh, yeah.
nephew. My nephew took off with my my sister's credit card.
Oh.
Like $600. Boom.
Oh,
Yeah, he had the best clan though.
Aw.
my friend actually got banned from it because he spent so much money getting everything, and
Oh,
they thought he
that's
was cheating.
But yeah, I don't know how you can say that gaming really became mainstream popularity until at least the mid 2000s at the earliest. Like the rise of the popularity of World of Warcraft, Halo 3. And who the hell's making all those noises? Is that me?
It's not me.
It's probably Gray.
I don't.
I don't
You know
think
what?
it's me.
I don't really
No,
remember
same.
there being much of a dip in the gaming industry. I mean, as a kid, at least, that's all that we ever saw on TV. It's all anybody ever wanted for Christmas and birthdays and everything else. And I mean,
I feel like everybody had GoldenEye. Like it was just a
Yeah.
thing that like everybody had. I don't know.
But Anne wants to make the argument it wasn't until like a mid
I could be
90s, I
wrong.
guess. I mean, you can
yeah,
pop out anytime
maybe,
you want,
maybe mid
Anna.
'90s.
I just give up, man. Like, there's no argument to convince y'all. I just give up.
Because you're wrong, okay?
Yeah, I was just
Oh,
gonna say you might be wrong.
To counter you.
Eh,
I was there, Anna. I lived it.
No, I take Villager News and Synthetic Man as my sources, so I'm not wrong at all.
Well, typical
Well,
theist. When
they
synthetic
sound-
man's your god, how can we argue with your
great.
god? We would be bigots if we argued with your religion, okay? So we can't argue with her, guys, or we would be bigots.
Yeah,
We'd be
yeah.
persecuting her based on her religion.
Yep.
Or a
Synthetic Man and Villager
biblical-
News. Nothing else.
Yep. And this is probably why all the Doom fanboys are coming after you in Synthetic Man. They've been
Yeah,
looking for their
probably.
chance for a while. The Griffin fanboys. A lot of insults, not a lot of brain power within that group.
So, wait, they're all on the side of Doom?
Yeah,
Huh, these-
I mean,
I need to look at these guys differently now. Huh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I need
it's a
to
good
make a
game.
video about like the history of gaming.
they're more
show.
about Ultra Kill nowadays, which I agree. It looks like a good game, but it just looks like a. Personally, I like Titanfall 2, and that sort of had the grappling hook in there. Maybe Ultra Kill does some ultra cool things with it, but it doesn't look like something worth getting invested in.
It's no Bionic Commando.
Have it? Anne's played it, but I doubt you guys have. I haven't. So I can't really speak on if it's a good game or not. I can just say it looks cool in a retro way. Looks like it has sort of a hardcore. They went after Under the Mayo for criticizing. That was a funny saga. Loot boxes.
I don't know. Just so much more gambling than it used to be. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Somehow that's okay.
See, I give mobile games a teeny bit more slack because you're buying the game for free and there's not many ways it can make money, but I like a little bit. Like, there, you could just make it for purchase, man. Why you gotta make? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I mean, there is a fine line between that. Like Fortnite, a lot of kids, as Patrick was saying, pretty much they charge their car. They charge a car worth load of stuff to their account.
Yeah.
Just adds up on parents. And I think I've heard about whales within certain industries with microtransactions. They like make most of their money off of like 10% of the people who play because they just
Wow.
can't control themselves. It's the addictive gambling personality thing.
Yep,
No, I get a text like once or twice a week. Like, Dad, can you pick me up a $50 Xbox card?
Oh my goodness.
For
Oh
what?
my God.
Microtransactions?
Yeah, I don't know. He wanted some fucking skin for
Oh my goodness.
what game? Grand Theft Auto Online, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah, that game.
Skins. My God.
I don't know, or I don't know what he calls it. Skins, I guess.
Well, at least
I
they
don't know
didn't
if
get into that phase skin lottery stuff that was a few years ago people were talking about.
Oh, I don't know what that is either.
It's better you don't. Better your kids were the kids you're handling, your kid and your girlfriend's kid, I'm assuming, didn't
Yeah.
get into that. I have a friend who was into CSGO. That's for an old game that's extremely popular. I can understand why. I have a friend who really has been on the CSGO train since the start.
I just like to let my kids go online, like whatever like virtual room they can find. Just go in there, make friends.
Yeah, as long as they stay out of your hair. Great parenting. Patrick.
They're like this guy. They teach these cool games like where the bathing suit goes, and it seems
Yeah,
nice.
you can learn
Everybody's
a lot.
Yeah, they're so friendly. It's like, I guess, safety training for swimming. In
Yeah.
Roblox, I think it was. Lisa?
Yeah.
Blow guy.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Let me not bring up the sort of screenshot I sent to Anna. That's funny. On the near.
Oh, God.
Let me not bring it up, but you know what I'm talking about. That's funny. That is hilarious. Okay.
What's that, an inside joke or something?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay.
None of us do.
Anna would
just-
be the only one. I don't
Well,
wanna-
dude, you've sent me screenshots. Like, how many months have we been talking to each other? Like, how many messages?
The
have to
recent
scroll?
one about Brother Near talking
She's
to
like,
your...
do you mean before lunch,
Oh,
after
that
lunch, this
Kim.
evening?
Kim's
Yeah,
gonna...
that
we should... Maybe we should do a
Before or
birthday
after 10
stream
o'clock?
for Kim, me and you, Anna, celebrating when he turns 18.
I thought he was 18.
Well, in that, obviously, he's a
Yeah,
month
that's what
away
she
from
said.
being 18.
Oh my God!
Wasn't that in the
Kim.
screenshot I sent? Yeah, let's stop talking about that. These guys are clueless. It's
God, and he
sort of
tries to
funny.
imply synthetic man is a certain word that we're not going to say. Jesus Christ!
Okay, definitely want you here for this last part because
So
I
I
come
gather
to-
is they're picking on children.
It's best we
great,
don't talk about
great.
it.
It's just pretend that's never mind.
Sorry.
Somebody's hurting children. It's
Okay.
our obligation to do something about it.
That's
Somebody call Dane and Bob. They're
Oh God.
oh God.
they're the white savers of the internet. Just get them on.
Yeah. Let them call a few black people Uncle Toms and just
They bully
call
the
it a
bullies.
day.
Oh,
Oh no,
God.
they don't actually say it. They just defend it.
They help the helpless.
Vince get political. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh, I talked to that guy in your server. I hope you're not friends with him. That guy was schizo.
Oh, the Jew guy.
This guy over there. Oh.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Okay.
You are what?
Definitely want before Anne passes out because she's the young one. She has a bitty time here.
The Romans had a saying that translates to "the past is always well remembered." And the
Mario.
Romans weren't alone in this belief.
Here, I've actually came up with this theory early on. I cut it from one of my early scripts, Rosie Retrospect. Basically, people thinking this is sort of nostalgia eater you were talking about. That's the common term for nostalgia blindness and stuff. But you see this term, Anna?
Mhm.
Declinism?
Yep.
That's you and Synthetic Man in a nutshell. You assume the gaming market is shit because
Oh, we assume
you don't
it
have
is.
perspective because it just seems like it from the modern day perspective that
Mm.
gaming's going to shit. He goes
Oh my
into
God, wait,
Calling
does
her
she
a
really-
declinamist?
You really believe that the
Gaming-
gaming industry is
Yeah.
not like?
Well, yes,
Isn't it like it's a multi-billion-dollar business, right?
it's
Yes,
not
it's-
about popularity.
it's good
not,
financially, but quality-wise, it's not.
yes, she's talking
I
about the
don't know.
quality. Sort of like
think-
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
gone
no,
from
not at all. There's no
Pong
way.
to like what's out there now. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. The quality just seems to be going up.
In the last like 10, 20 years, I mean, it's drastic. It's incredibly better, and there's a niche for everyone. How could it not be better? I mean, there's like 9 million little weirdos online talking about video games.
well, there's games like Last of Us Part 2, Forspoken. I'm just making the arguments that
mediocre shit
Anne
from
would. There's a
them.
lot of political messaging being pushed, I guess.
But did you
in
see
video
how pretty
games.
the peach fuzz looked? It looked so good.
What game was
Oh.
that again?
I can't
Horizon
remember.
Zero?
Horizon Zero. Yeah.
And Patrick was like, "I love the ginger." No, you
Yeah.
actually disliked the ginger quest.
I did not
Are you
like the
trolling?
Horizon Ginger. Yeah,
Oh,
Horizon
okay.
Ginger Force.
Okay.
Yeah, I
guess-
didn't like that game.
Okay, I thought about buying it, but then I read reviews and I'm like, no, it seems a little off.
You know what?
Yeah,
I actually let my son. That was one of the first games he like really cut his teeth on. That and of course all the Lego games. But
Yeah, but kids are stupid. They'll like almost anything shiny. Okay.
oh well, because it was like there was animals in it and stuff, and he was excited about that. I used to let him play Red Dead and like, but just he was only allowed to hunt.
You wouldn't let
or
him
ride
shoot
the horse.
people.
I wouldn't let him like kill hookers or anything.
Okay.
But
Let
I
them
mean, he
die of
did.
the suffer
I didn't
rage.
let him. He just did it naturally. It comes naturally to him,
Of course, it comes to men
like
to
a fish to water.
use women.
9 years
Congress
old.
was trying to say these video games are teaching. No, it's an outlet for kids so they
Yeah.
don't do it in real life, right?
Maybe
Ay, ay, ay.
maybe they're right. Who knows?
But there's definitely something fishy in the industry with gaming. Now that we pretty much did a skim, this video definitely helped support my idea that it wasn't until the 2000s, like the 90s, it started increasing in value video games. But it wasn't really until the 2000s that it reached mainstream popularity, at least in the US, probably worldwide, thanks to the internet and the diversity among games, as you guys were saying. There's just games for everyone now, but games for everyone, certain games try to be a game for everyone. Do you guys who are also on board that games are so much better now believe that games that try to do 50 million things or try to attract 50 million types of people, it's exaggeration, 50 million, have different mechanics like Fallout 4 with base building? I mean, Fortnite did the battle royale with a little bit of Minecraft building built in. That's like two things it tried to do. I think that's fine, but there's a lot of games that try to do a whole bunch of stuff.
If Vince, for 500 subscribers, you're gonna have to use Minecraft gameplay in a video.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So, hot seat,
Give me
Patrick.
500 subs.
Yeah.
So you think games that sort of multitask, like doesn't have a strong loop, they have building, shooting, social aspect. I mean, I think it works best in an RPG where you can choose how to play, but
I don't know. As a casual gamer, I don't like to do too much shit in my games.
Okay, you just like
If
to
I gotta-
race.
No, if I have to mix together more than 3 things or 4 things to make something that I need in a game, you know what fucking pisses me off about games too? I don't like a game when you're playing it all the way through, and I'm not talking about online games because I'm too old. But when you're playing all the way through and you can't upgrade your shit all the way until you play through a second time, what kind of fucking bullshit game is that? So
Oh, they do that shit in Pokemon all the time where you can't get
It's
certain things till like the end of the game, or you have to play it again to get certain.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is kind of annoying in games, and they do that shit in Borderlands too, which is kind of annoying.
I mean, I get your whole dilemma on like wanting to gatekeep from probably people like me, because I enter into these goddamn online games every once in a while and I'm just dead immediately every time. So I need something to level the playing field. It's kind of like
You
all
need
women.
the Thanos snap to beat Fortnite people.
Well, it's like all women should carry a gun, like it's the grand equalizer. I need a gun for when I play a game. I need something extra because I can't keep up with that shit.
Like you need something that appeals to you specifically, really, kind of.
No. I'm talking about the actual in-game play. Like,
okay.
it's because I stopped playing for so many years, and basically like passed it on to my son, and then he and his friends invited me to play one time because he was at his mother's, so I went and used his console, and it was what was that Star Wars game where it was a
Battlefront?
Yeah, Battlefront. I think the second one.
Oh,
So
the one with microtransactions. That one got lambasted.
Yeah, I think it was
People
that
had
one.
advantage through those microtransactions. And
So
they
yeah,
stupid.
I got to play as Yoda, and I had to run around for like fucking 10 minutes just trying to find everybody, and then I finally did, and they're all in this area, and there's this big enclosure in the ground, and they're all fighting around and shooting over it, and I run up to like do like the Jedi slash there, and I hit the wrong fucking button. I jumped right into the hole and I died, and like I feel like some, why should I not be able to play these games? Can't they just put it on a level? Like, can't we just have T-ball versions? Isn't there classes?
A visible wall so you can't fall down the hole. Instant
No, I'm
death
saying
hole.
though, like
in some games there are.
is
Like they
is
do
it,
have like easy mode.
yeah, but is there like
Rough.
obviously in games they have the levels, but like when you go play online, is it like your rank gets you into a certain class of people, or you're all at an even playing field in all
That's
these
how it
games?
should be. There's some bad balancing in some games. I think Battlefield 2 was one of those horrible balanced games with the levels. So I don't quote me on that, but there are some games where the levels, they really have bad balance in between the player bases.
Yeah, like old Grand Theft Auto was like that when it first went online. I remember going online and trying to play because I got bored of, playing through the game a million times, and it was like respawn, boom, somebody sniped me, respawn, snipe, respawn, snipe, respawn, snipe. I did it for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, fuck this game.
Yeah, this is why I can't get into Fortnite, why I couldn't get into Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
Just
because you
have
can't
to
keep
wait.
up. And then the thing is, Anna, you like that. You like that, like
I don't
like,
actually.
fuck it.
I don't
I'm
I don't
not
like
gonna play
Fortnite.
anymore. But guess what? Then more of the people are gonna stop buying that shit, and then it's really gonna get terrible for you.
I actually don't like that. I don't think Synthetic Man likes
Oh,
that kind of
okay.
gameplay either. Like we don't like that because you literally have to have like super fast reflexes to even. I mean, that's the problem with like I don't like Phantom Forces either. Like that's something that one of my friends play. They play Phantom Forces. Literally, I go in there and I get freaking sniped. I don't even have the time to react. It's like what is this? It's like. And I've been playing games for years, man. This is even a problem for hardcore gamers. If you're not in the meta and you don't have fast reflexes, you're gonna die, and it's not fun. It's really not fun.
Not taking long hits and doing that.
Yeah, just want to get high and play Mario Kart. Done that before when I was younger, much younger.
Try it again, man. You won't go
maybe.
you won't go on these long ass schizo rants. Take a couple bong hits before the stream.
Hey,
Surprisingly,
Hey,
it holds
schizo
up.
rants are awesome. They help preserve my villainous status. Okay.
Oh,
They're definitely
yes.
they're entertaining. I'll give you that.
I definitely don't mind if people fear me. I don't try to get people to fear me. It just seems like I noticed something that seems to get on people's nerves really easily. And they get all butthurt and triggered by it.
You just got to be careful which kind of fear you it is. Because there's just like different ones, there's like, oh man, I'm afraid that guy's gonna mess my business up, and then there's afraid like that crazy homeless guy or something on a subway who wants to wipe shit on you. So just be careful what kind of fear you put out.
Yeah,
I don't-
people were afraid of Gigi Allen, but probably not in the way that you'd want to be.
I don't go for that. It just happens accidentally. But yeah, so we took a look down history. I mean, this channel, good, comprehensive. Probably missed a few things, but it's a 6-hour freaking video. I think it was rather comprehensive, but I also looked at his Fallout retrospective, and he definitely missed some things. But that was 4 years ago. This is now, I'll give him a break. He thinks gaming isn't in decline. Just looking at the history, he's like, gaming has ups and downs. Talking about one of those downs, definitely Gamergate. He definitely does get into. Let's take a quick break from talking to see. Have you guys watched this video?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I have a time to watch a
watched it.
6-hour
Yes,
video.
it is amazing.
Man.
No,
What
I'm
is-
talking about
I
this
didn't even
one.
look at what it
Oh
was.
no.
Oh, I
Sitch's
don't know.
Sitches.
No, I
analogy
didn't
for
watch
this is just like spot on. If you know anything about Gamergate,
Very
if you
little.
don't know anything about it, this explains it quite easily in a cartoon. If you know it, it fits into the cartoon greatly.
Okay,
nice.
yeah, look. I even have a comment from 5 years ago. I don't remember making this.
Holy crap! I forgot how long you've been on this website.
Only
5
about
years
6 or
ago.
7 years.
Holy crap!
Not as old as some people.
Of Gamergate, and yet it is still constantly misunderstood by the normies. So
Everything's
here's a short and
Gamergate.
simple metaphor
His voice.
explaining Gamergate.
Hmm.
Imagine a banquet hall with 100 tables that represents all gamers. And don't worry, there's not going to be any math here. Our tale begins
it's
as
already
most
speed
do,
up.
with a boy and a girl.
Terrible breakups.
Oh
So
god,
the
the
boy
courage
goes
of
and
it.
writes an angry breakup blog post.
I must pause this to say Death Note overrated of an anime. Anyone want to argue with me on that?
Nope, you're right.
No.
It's a
Great-
really
great movie.
fun first part.
Oh, it's
live
definitely
action one.
fun. Oh,
It's
the live
babies.
action.
It's
the-
baby's first traumatic anime.
The Japanese one. I mean, yeah, it's citing the anime definitely has cinematic makes writing seem cool with the music and the style, directing, but the story, sort of falls flat.
It does towards the end. I think it's got a really good like first third, maybe. But
even when
I can't.
Sorry, I can't get
disagree that it falls flat.
I can't get over the fact just of how stupid Light is, and it comes out of nowhere where he just tries to kill L. Like, oh, he's calling me evil. Let me kill him. It comes out of nowhere. And then it picks
Just
up
saying,
again.
The first third is good.
Then it gets into the sort of battle and it's good. But then you get into this whole Shigami eyes, but we're digressing.
Patrick, you watch anime?
No.
No,
He does.
He was so close to being the coolest casual gamer in the planet, dude.
I've seen some.
I've seen something, man, and done some things.
I like mainstream stuff, obviously casual.
Oh.
Cowboy
everything
Bebop?
Everything. No, I don't like that.
Okay. Well,
I like the live action version though. That was really good. Like, so many
okay.
Accusing the girl of all sorts of juicy, terrible things. Did she do any of these terrible things? Who cares? It's not important. That's not what Gamergate is about. This juicy blog post spreads to various internet forums and communities, represented in our banquet hall as one table. Yes, only a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of the entire population of gamers were even remotely aware of this juicy gossip. But it was juicy gossip, so it was talked about vehemently at this one table.
I don't know how
harsh
Stitch
words were
does
thrown.
his editing
Lots
so
of
well.
Oh my god, did you hear what Becky did? What a slut. Totally.
Because this is the nature of juicy gossip. It has nothing to do with sex or gender or race or whatever. Juicy gossip is drama, and people love them some drama. But still, one table. However, it turns out the girl at the center of this drama was sitting at the next table over. And that was the table filled with indie game developers, game journalists, and people who run gaming websites. And it just so happens that the girl was friends with many of these people. So the girl, not wanting to be the center of this new drama,
reference
complains to her table.
No wonder I
and
like
they nod
Stitch's
and say,
videos.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
too,
terrible and horrible.
otaku.
How can they do this to you?
Then they turn and stare angrily at the one table, discussing the drama. But there is a problem.
And Butt McKenzie's.
The table with all the gaming journalists is
Anyone watch that show? It was Adult Swim
No,
show. Butt
this is-
McKenzie's.
This is
Really?
cringe.
Really? Oh God.
Oh, really cute kitty. I'm just focusing on the cat because this is so freaking cringe.
Okay. You're not liking this video? Fine.
No.
corner table against a wall, so they've lost sight of the entire room. All they can see is this one table out of 100. And here, they make the classic fuck up. They assume all the other tables are talking about the drama as well. Pro tip, they weren't. And on top of that, there's always that one guy in every group that takes things too far.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. That was bad.
So our table of game journalists gets angrier and angrier. How can all these people believe such terrible, slanderous lies? about their
Anime lightning
gaming?
slash.
And as the table whips itself into a frenzy of self-righteous anger, they decide to do something very, very stupid. The table rises as one, walks on stage, stops the music, the room goes silent, and they say,
Everyone in this room is a horrible, sexist, misogynist, loser, scumbag. How could this happen?
And this is what started Gamergate. It wasn't the girl and the boy's breakup.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty
Can't
close.
stand editing like this.
Oh, you going to bat against the Lord Savior Stitt? No. Okay.
Yes,
you can
I
shit
am.
on him. Okay. He even has the JoJo beep.
Yeah, I
You
can't
continue.
stand editing like this in
God.
videos. I just can't.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, that's a good comprehensive. There was a whole bunch of gamers are dead articles that popped up, and it was found out
At the
they were
exact same time.
yeah. Oh, they just all decided to say all gamers are dead, or we don't like this word. Let's use another term. I forget what they were talking about. But yeah,
But
Gamergate
yeah.
was truly a mess, and there was troll. They deflected it with all the trolls and basically saying it's sort of like the Riva thing that Bob organized chaos talked about. You don't acknowledge that. Okay, and you don't need to message me if you
I
need
know,
to go
I-
sleepy
yeah.
sleep.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Us men will talk about
Yeah.
how it's fine to bully and harass. No, that's not what Gamergate's about. They deflect it. They pretty much
Yeah.
just say they're harassing and giving death threats. And yeah, there probably was some, but they didn't. They dismissed all the criticism based on
I
a
just didn't
small
want to.
majority.
I just didn't want to say nothing while you were talking. So
Yeah,
it's like-
but yeah, drop out, girl. Get
Alright.
your beauty sleep. Us men are cave dwellers, so we will get into the Gamergate discourse and maybe a little bit beyond. So have a good night.
very, very nice to meet you, Patrick. I'm really glad to talk to you.
Yeah, no, Anna, it was a pleasure to meet you too.
And
See you around.
Craig, good night. Vincent, good night.
Good night.
Okay. She's gone now, guys. You can say whatever bad stuff. This isn't being recorded on a stream or anything.
Oh, we can say bad
Isn't
stuff when
Anne
she's
just a
gone?
horrible, just so? No, I'm joking, of course. But
Oh, it
that's
had to be
obvious.
bad. It had to be bad stuff about her. I was just gonna say bad shit about you guys.
Okay, you can say bad stuff about us. Now that we're talking face to face, do you have any problems with me? No. We'll get into that on next Saturday.
Got a few.
I'm sure. Next Saturday, we're talking about Gamergate. Let's not fight among ourselves like Gamergate did. Did you get into the Mr. Menaker stuff? Aware of how he exited Gamergate?
You know, I actually didn't kind of hear his part in it. I know it launched a whole bunch of careers, but he was actually called something else during that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was an internet.
Maybe I am aware of him, but I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I actually was aware of him.
Yeah,
at the
he has a
time.
few videos on
Uh,
archive. He talks about it in this interview. But I'm using this just as a primer, this sort of list, so we can discuss it instead of listen to other. Unless you want to watch one of these to sort of frame our discussion. I have several here.
I'll be right back, but I'm still listening.
I understand.
So don't talk.
Deal.
So don't talk any fucking shit.
Oh, we'll talk all the shit, just not behind your back. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll conspire
Yeah.
till
Just
you
wait until
come
he's
back.
away from the mic.
Yeah, it's. I mean, just do it. I like it. All right,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Great. How can you hang out with Patrick so much? He's such a douchebag. And the Carnegie? No.
I just
Joking
hear
about
you.
that.
He's so based.
But yeah.
The cardigan. Are you mocking his cardigan?
Yeah. That's a preppy thing. He should be. He
Dude,
should play.
cardigans, man. It's all about cardigans.
I don't even know what a
okay?
cardigan is.
I have a cardigan.
Okay.
It's a sweater, but you don't zip it up. It's got
Call
like
it a
buttons on
sweater
it or
then.
something.
Okay. Why use such a fancy?
No,
fucked up
it's a
word?
cardigan
Okay.
because it's fancy.
Oh, fancy, smatchy. Oh.
But if you're talking shit on cardigans, you're talking shit on me as well.
Okay, that's
And I
fine.
will not
I am
allow
perfectly
that.
fine with talking
Cardigans,
shit on you.
You get +4 charisma.
Oh, Road Breach came around. We're just discussing stuff, Road Breach. I hope you're doing well.
Boy,
Sorry you just missed Anne. Can't invite you in to sort of hash it out with her. But yeah, Road Breach there did a video on Anne. Didn't actually watch it. Too many. Maybe it was good. Maybe it wasn't. Not going to judge. But yeah, we're talking about Gamergate here. So we're outside of that realm. But so yeah, did you heard the internet aristocrat basically tried to burn all bridges? I think Sargod brought up he mended his bridge, and Short Fat Otaku also did, but he sort of started it with the Zoe conspiracy and fun stuff like that. But so, what were you up on? What was your impression? Because I assume you got into it.
So I I don't know. Like I definitely have heard it from mainly people who were involved in Gamergate. So I wasn't particularly following it at the time, but I've kind of looked into it subsequently. From everything I saw, like Sitch's video is a pretty good explanation of kind of what happened. I kind of know it from like Chris Reagan's things too, but yeah, I don't think I have the best knowledge of it because when you're mentioning the internet aristocrat burning all the bridges, I guess I don't remember that. I know I heard. So I happened to catch Dev on Not So Erudite stream the other day.
Okay, so did I.
That
for a
one,
bit.
the humanization one. Yeah, and he kind of mentioned that he had somewhat made up. He was at least not. He seemed to be more in good terms or whatever with Medicare at this time. So how exactly did he burn all the bridges? I guess I didn't hear that part. I guess I'm not familiar with all aspects.
I
of it.
don't know all the details, but he definitely went out and basically called them all shills and grifters. I mean, he was right about a few people, but that was the right wingers. But Gamergate was not about right or left. Just the left wing was supporting the anti-Gamergaters, while the right wing supported the Gamergaters. And pretty much the left seemed to deflect it completely. It was all about the harassment. Even one lefty I have in this playlist. So this will definitely be because David Pakman. I used to respect David Pakman.
Really?
Well,
so I've got a few debates or whatever with him, and it's always like
that's him currently.
I feel like he's kind of hiding his power level, but I don't know. So what did you kind of respect about him, and what did he lose?
Well, he used to be a lot more
Maybe
neutral.
I didn't know him initially.
He used to be a lot more neutral. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. So, but yeah, like this, he did a interview with Total Biscuit, who was one of the YouTubers who were standing up for Gamergate at the time.
About Gamergate, and I'm joined today by John Bain, known to many of you in the gaming. Those are really people that are part of Gamergate on our side. So how can we really get beyond that to have a substantive conversation about the issues of harassment?
Well, I genuinely believe that good faith is a great part of that, and that games media has to demonstrate a willingness to come to the table, at which point I believe that people will start to discuss it. The problem is that there is a big disagreement in how exactly to...
Yeah, the problem is they never came to the table. They always deflected to the harassment, which, yeah, most of the good ones, it seemed like Sargon even had a little bit where he's like on Twitter, they're looking for this harassment online. They pretty much had a report feature to report harassers, any harassment, anyone going after these people, instead of talking about the substantial issue online. But the people who were anti-Gamergate, they even did a SVU episode, sort of bail.
Yeah, I remember the SVU.
Oh,
one,
I remember
and
it also.
Over the top, amazing. Yeah, but you know that's all that like SVU. Well, Law and Order is right. Like it's ripped from the headlines. It was a bunch of. I remember them doing quite a few controversial ones as well. Like, yeah, a lot of school incidents, if you will.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Oh, they definitely. I really don't respect Law and Order. I don't know why anyone heralds it.
Come on, man! It had Ice-T though.
Yeah.
How can you not respect Ice-T?
Ice-T was better when he was against the police and not acting as the police back in the day. But you know,
fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this was a real shit show, and it really showed a lot of things. And they sort of a lot of infighting, and as time goes on, there's a couple of videos by several people just saying how they continue Gamergate, like the tweet by Kathy Griffin. Like, was I canceled because of the supposedly Gamergate thing I just heard about like 3 or 5 years later with Trump? No, 2 or 3 years, I think, afterwards. They just try to pin everything. The start of the alt-right. And
everything leads back to it.
And they try to make that claim because a lot of people who've like Ethan Ralph of the Ralph Report and Killstream was on Gamergate, but you also have people like Chris Raygun and Shoe on Head, who was part of that Gamergate movement. So I really don't know how they really can take this sort of idea that it's so horrible in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. They're able to connect everything back to it. I don't know. It was just a weird time. When you look at like who all came out of it, so like it launched Milo's career. He was the one who reported about the like backdoor meetings or chat room or whatever that all the news outlets had, so that they were able to release.
But he was right wing, so
yeah. But I mean, that's what launched Milo. That's what launched Candace Owens. She had the whole social autopsy thing that was going to be dropping at that time. Yeah, like it's just weird. Yeah, well, she was not right wing at the time, but yeah.
But if you watch Deb's video, that was hilarious. He's like, Gamergate is about social justice. He made a decent argument.
Yeah.
This video was horrible. I mean, comparison to why.
But it wasn't all right wing people. Like I wouldn't call Chris Raygun right wing.
No, and even back then, he's still apolitical, slightly left wing, no matter how you sort of measure it out nowadays. And just saying that, yeah, there is going to be harassment online, but to deflect collusion within the gaming industry, that little circle that was formed around Gamergate, I mean, around those Game Pros thing, and what happened to the fine young capitalist who was trying to promote a female game, but Zoe Quinn didn't think they were doing it the right way. That was just, I don't know how they spun it and how it still continues to be the boogeyman into the future.
They got harassment, and
and that was wrong. Most people who talked about it said it was wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Patrick, I'm sure you heard him talking smack on the Cardigans. Like I just can't get that. It's a great, cover for
fancy
slight chills.
My cat's having a nervous breakdown behind me. What's the matter, Robbie?
I understand. My cats generally are cool, but
no, the
those are my
cardigan
cats.
It's a classic look.
Yeah.
A sweater is a pullover. It doesn't have buttons. It doesn't open. You're gonna get a zip up hoodie, and you got your cardigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess
it's
the cardigan
perfect in between.
All right.
Yeah.
I like the buttons.
Yeah, there's something to a button.
I don't like to wear a full jacket. I like a cardigan.
You guys have buttanophobia. Is this a problem with you guys? Have an issue with buttons, a fixation on buttons and cardigans?
I was going to say it might be a fixation, but I don't think we have an issue with it.
No,
we enjoy the button.
I like it. I like zippers too. I like any kind of fastening clothing. But the buttons look cooler. I even like button flies, but those are annoying.
Okay, enough with the buttons, Patrick. You're obsessed with the buttons now.
My
Get off
gumdrop
with the buttons. Okay, got it.
What about a clasp?
Yeah, clasps are cool.
What does that have to do with Gamergate? You're just making me pay for making fun of your precious, precious cardigans, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Cardigans
How
are
dare
awesome.
you, sir?
Hipster fucking nonsense, fashion essence.
Hipsters.
Yeah, I'm too old to be a hipster. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Okay, you're just old, man.
Yeah, I missed every annoying trend there was.
Okay.
Stayed right in. I was like in the perfect spot in the wave, missing every stupid trend.
We didn't even discuss Velcro.
Okay, Patrick, what do you know about Gamergate? Nothing, something, not enough to speak on it?
Not enough to care about it, but I...
But it's about ethics
you
in
know
video
enough.
games, but you don't care about video games that much, so...
no, I mean, I know what it's about. It's about, what was it? They were saying that people were not acting properly and sexually harassing people, and it was like a bad climate, and then it kind of all blew out of proportion, and then it just became like like a woke thing, right? Cancel everybody.
Yeah,
and
call
then
everyone racist, bigots.
Yeah,
This is why
and then
your shield got invented. Because
Right,
a
and
lot
then
of
they'll be both-
women...
On
a
both
lot of
sides,
women and
you get your
minorities.
champions.
Yeah, it's like a League of Legends in reality. You have your
Right.
tower defense game. Definitely an apt metaphor for all of this. And they still bring it up. Like the Serfs here has a really bad video on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
God.
that one.
That was painful to try to watch.
Who's
I
the
gave
Serfs? Why do I know that name?
It's Lance. Do you remember Lance from his Tim Pool debate?
Yeah.
He was the
Oh,
guy
yeah.
who held up the piece of paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
that great
left-handed.
meme.
Yes.
Yeah, he's funny.
And of course, we have all these bread tubers trying to twist things around. Like, supposedly H Bomber Guy was in that group which had a internet aristocrat. If you see his videos on the Gamer Gators, like this free Sargon one where he just basically mocks. I don't know why many people respect H Bomber Guy. He was just sort of a shit slinger who, I mean, yeah, he found a way to make nonsense mocking people sound intellectual with his high hoity-toity British accent. Oh, such a joke, you Sargon. You know, talking about not raping this woman. And I mean, Sargon was sort of cringe back in the day, sending but you gotta respect him sending gay interracial porn to alt-writers and racists, and even mocks him in this video. He has several videos on this, and it's not even actually addressing anything. And if you try to watch any of these other people, oh God. Folding Ideas or oh fuck. How do you say that?
Where are you looking?
This one. Might as well click on it. I am fucking
Innuendo
up that
Studios.
word.
The question of
Innuendo Studios, yeah.
Yeah.
There you
was Gamergate even is
Subtitles are
This will
on.
be impartial.
Yeah, was a movement anti-feminist. They used ethics in gaming. See, this is why I like the sort of, and this touch here, anti-Gamergate, Gamergate. I think he has the same problem Stitch was talking about. I think anti-Gamergate was just this little group here, which had a marker here. Maybe there's a feature to do that. But no, anti-Gamergate was probably like this group, and everyone else was indifferent. Be like, what the fuck is this? Some people join Gamergate, and some people join the anti-Gamergate. So this is a really bad sort of graphic, I think. When I'm not an expert on it, so maybe I'm wrong, but you don't even need to
believe that's
listen.
the way that most people remember this. When I've heard the, situation described, nobody kind of described it that way. That it was just this tiny little group of people was.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know.
And of course, he's going with the anonymous 4chan sort of shit to sort of. I mean, none of these people. Maybe he addresses it. I don't think he does in another video. This is all this bread tubers. So yeah, I think the bread tubers sort of started making their rise in this era.
Yeah. I mean, so did Gamergators.
Yeah,
that's what
Sargon
gave
got really
Sargon-
big.
Yeah.
I almost liked Sargon there for a hot minute after Gamergate, but I've never been.
He's done some clever things for sure.
Oh, some of his trolling's good, but same thing with Short Fat Otaku, and he's still more understandable to me than Sargon. Sorry, I'm not one of these Sargon fans. Just a liberal like Danimal or his ass there. But yeah, this definitely put a crux in the online culture war. Like Stitch's video. I mean, he switched to that at the very end, but yeah, I don't actually want to listen to him. Am I being lazy by not listening to him or being good? I don't know. I mean, did you want to try to actually suss out one of these videos and see horrible argumentation? like we would do on a Kidith stream, or you just want to laugh at it? I'm not sorry. That's sophisticated.
Either way, man. Yeah. Whatever you choose.
Yeah,
It's your stream.
dealer's choice.
Yeah, roulette.
What what's a bread tuber? What is that? I don't know what that term is.
Okay, thank you. You probably something I should explain. It's basically just a term for leftists online who got really popular after the era of Gamergate, like H Bomber Guy,
The biggest one
Lindsay
was probably
Ellis.
Vaush.
You probably liked a lot of their content. ContraPoints.
I don't know what
A
that
lot
is.
of the video game essayists and media essayists.
You know Vaush, right?
I know who he is.
He would probably be the most well-known one.
I consider
Probably
him
H Bomber
post.
Guy would be like second.
I could,
He is, but if you're going to describe that group, he's what comes from that group, I believe.
yeah.
But is there like a reason?
I don't know. I know he's a Destiny orbiter, but he went far to that side.
Is there a reason for the name though? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
It's because they're communist
Vaush?
bread lines.
Oh, the bread tube. Sorry. Yeah, they're communist YouTubers, so leftist, but it refers to the bread lines.
Oh, okay. See, I thought money.
Yeah,
That's
bread
what I
lines are
thought.
a good thing.
That's where my brain went right away.
Like, well, it kind of is.
like
I mean, if
people just
Hassan
doing it
is
for money.
one of them.
Yeah, like Philosophy Tube with her Patreon, who's disclosed.
Yeah.
So, did this really get as ugly as they let on, or was it like blown out of proportion?
How ugly did you hear it got?
Like,
Because it kind of depends.
like I guess like journalists and stuff, female journalists and gamers and things like that, were getting like death threats and rape threats, and I don't know. I never heard of anything beyond just like internet threatening stuff.
There was some of that, but
That may or may not have been true.
but did it come from gamer gators? That's the real question.
It's kind of weird.
Or was it just
I know
because Sarkeesian was
Candace
getting all
Owens-
that stuff before Gamergate even started.
Yes. But I know like Candace Owens was going to open this website called Social Autopsy, which was kind of a way that you could, it kind of sounds a lot like that database that Dane is kind of talking about, where you see something, you say something, you report people that have like perceived transgressions. Anyway, so she's trying to create this so that you could kind of hold people accountable and kind of anonymously snitch on people. Well, Zoe Quinn apparently contacted her and told her, don't do this, you will ruin everything. And then magically, Candace Owens started getting a whole bunch of attacks. Just her website kept getting, what is it, like DDoS or whatever, where they keep going after like the code. So it's kind of unclear whether or not the harassment is real, or maybe it was manufactured, or perhaps even, you know, they're getting attacked, but maybe from their own side for optics. Like, it's a little unclear who all was doing the attacking.
Yeah, not even anyone in it could actually definitively say. Like, if you saw the Stardust stream, he thought that Brianna Wu, just because of the timing in Twitter, that she posted the own threat, the own threat or harassment. I'm saying finger quotes towards Anita Sarkeesian, and sort of faked her own harassment. But I don't even think that matters. I think it was overblown, and they didn't address. They completely deflected everything. The Gamergaters would call out the harassment. They don't care about ethics. They really just tried to poison the well with the minimum amount of harassment that they actually proved in Gamergate. But yeah.
So just a lot of people acting badly.
Yes.
Well, at least a
but
small
then-
percentage, but they couldn't actually connect much of that to the people mostly talking about Gamergate. I mean, yeah, internet aristocrat was very callous with his words. Maybe that's actually a good start to go with, instead of just looking at this bread tuber video. There's some good points in here. I think I might have marked some. Okay. I marked at least one, and almost there.
Genealogy, right? And it was a huge I know it's become cliche now, but it's become a huge red pill moment for me, even though I was somebody who was always sort of skeptical of maybe government and maybe and the media, especially.
Just for the audience, do you notice his color?
Which one's Medicur's?
Well, Medicare doesn't. The person talking now. Would you say he's
his color?
He's not a minority, or is he a white guy? Just
You know, I had never noticed, but yeah, I suppose Clifton Duncan is not a white guy.
Okay.
Huh? I never
Well,
noticed
see,
that before.
a minority voice.
Who's this black guy?
Clifton Duncan.
His name's Clifton Duncan.
Oh.
He's
There's the
awesome.
name
He's
right
an
there.
actor.
Do I? Maybe
Oh,
I
I
should
didn't
blow
know.
it up
Yeah.
for you. Sorry, might not be easy to see. I know how this thing goes.
But it was such a weird.
I thought you meant Medicur's flag.
For me, a weird microcosm.
Very
It just sort of became like foreshadowing.
enabling.
You're seeing everything else, the way that the press operates, the way that this sort of quote unquote progressive ideology kind of takes over these infiltrates, takes over these institutions, the gatekeeping, and then I think the biggest impact that it had on me was just seeing how I would see, what guys like you were saying and what you were talking about, and what actual the people who supported the movement were talking about. But then I would see how it was reported on, and I said, this is completely like. When you see yourself referred to as like a privileged, angry, white misogynist, simply because you see where these other guys are coming from, it really, really stuck with me that wait a minute, the press just is lying. But that's not to hear. Let's just go back a little bit to the beginning. And now I want to hear your recalling of how this all began, because you were kind of the catalyst for a lot of this stuff. You made a video called, I believe it was called The Conspiracy Theory, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, using some Jesse Ventura footage from his little TV show. Yeah.
Which was just, it was so amazingly funny and clever. But I remember this video, I think you took it down, but it got over 1 million views before it was removed. And, you really, really hit on something. Because so just sort of lead into let us know what led into the making of that video and sort of the drama that preceded it. If you can think back that far. It was ages ago.
Yeah, we're talking 8 years ago. But I guess to set the stage for kind of, at least my perspective, and I think what a lot of people were kind of feeling at the time was, you have a hobby.
Okay, I'm trying to pause it for fair use. Also,
Fair
also
enough.
the break between. He's saying this maybe like what Dane would call Duncan here a grifter or something. Maybe they would say the same about the guy who recently that you held at. You didn't let us know about talking about Bob of Organized Chaos being bad faith also. Maybe they're just all grifters and race traders.
They could be, but that would be because they don't actually define that word. They just seem to call anybody with an opposing opinion either a grifter or a slur, depending on the color of their skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of weird. I wish they could kind of define that, because it appears to me that they're just grifters because they don't see the correct position, which is Bob and Dane's position. I don't know. I think that's kind of what a lot of this was going on too. Just these people didn't necessarily agree with their position, so therefore everyone was branded some sort of bigot, and the gamer was dead.
Yeah, women who spoke out against it was sort of internalized misogyny. And I'm sure for minorities like Duncan, who spoke about it, some black guy who was on the side of Gamergate, a lot of other minorities, I'm sure, spoke out about it. Those are the two that are the easiest to pull here, even though I don't like how some black guy's been going. He had a video on that also recently talking about it, probably because everyone else was doing it. But yeah, they were against it. And like Chris Ray-Gun and Shuan Head, they were progressive. Not my shield. That's why a lot of Sargon's videos have that in it. Hashtag Gamergate, hashtag not my shield. He's a white guy. He's as white as they come, but maybe. How white would you say Sargon is?
Pretty white. I don't know.
I'd say
It depends.
8 or 9 at
isn't
least.
he-
Not quite 10. You have to be a bino to be a 10, in my personal opinion. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
So definitely just deflecting and saying you internalized misogyny or internalized racism or internalized Uncle Tomism, I guess maybe is what they would claim about him.
I would assume so.
And Mr. Miniger
Yeah.
who definitely was a troll from the start, so he got into it. He got angry. But he's a little bit calm now. coming at peace. I hope he's living his life or living his death well enough. God rest, or hope your life is going well, Mr. Medicare. Let's see what he has to say.
People enjoyed gaming, right? And so they wanted to read articles related to what's coming out, previews, reviews, that kind of stuff. Very basic stuff. Just anything. I mean, think of any hobby you might have, cars, movies, whatever it is. I mean, you're looking to consume information related to that, the newest stuff, people's opinions on it, that sort of thing. But there was a weird trend that started to kind of, I don't know if you'd say explode or just kind of, it's almost an exponential explosion, really. What started off as one or two opinion pieces kind of mixed into a game review or mixed into something talking about a company that's releasing a product. More and more, we started to see the people who were journalists chastising their very own audience. You're terrible people. Gamers are horrible. You're all racist. You're all sexist. This is all white people's fault. I remember, I think it was Patricia Hernandez writing for Kotaku, had written an entire article saying that she had I think the article was she had said to somebody, "You're going to get raped" in Gears of War, and how this was the most triggering thing of her life, and how could she do that? And it was like a 50-page essay about this, and it was just ridiculous. Again, this is touching on my experience of kind of early internet, where if you played any multiplayer game, you were going to hear the most atrocious things. Whether that was on PC or Xbox Live didn't matter. You were going to hear some stuff.
I can attest to this. Usually I mute the mic.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of edgy kids going off about it. A lot of shit talk going on back in the day. And just not understanding where the gamer has lost their spirit. But we'll be getting into that after the Gamergate section. But does this sort of compete with your experience, or would you have a problem with that in reality? Any of this stuff here? I mean,
no, that sounds exactly like I remember it. Yeah, I remember some of like the waiting rooms just being, well, not even the waiting rooms. I just remember, some of the most offensive jokes, insults, anything I've ever heard was in some of those early 2000s games. It was pretty awesome. It was
lots of racism.
Oh yeah, but like interesting ways of doing it, not just your standard. But there was definitely your standard in there as well. But I remember, I don't know, I guess you'd call that toxic gaming, but it just seemed like it was part of it. Like, you learn to talk a little crap, and you definitely learn to take some. But I don't know. I guess, that could be somewhat of a weird gate to have to go through. So I could understand, someone objecting to something like that.
yeah, they're calling
But
it
I don't know that it's
gatekeeping, like
uniquely.
these horrible words being spoken in these environments, like bully hunters, that sort of stuff. I think there's something recently Rags did some sort of ad he made fun of about a white room, also trying to teach men about what women face online. Everyone faces that online when they have their mic open. If you have it muted and shit like that, that's what you get generally. You have a high-pitched voice, you got a slur, or you sound really high-pitched or something. Are you a kid or shit like that?
I would imagine that female gamers, though, had it pretty fucking rough. Like,
probably.
I mean, you're talking about the majority of people who are gamers enough to play online. In the 2000s, were not the most social.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
You were talking about mostly like introverted, fucking borderline psychotic kids, and I'm not saying everybody, but like there was
I
a
would
lot
say
of
they
fucking
more
weird
LARP
kids.
about it. They act like they're the biggest, but I'll agree to someone coming into the space. It could definitely be repellent to someone new into the space. It definitely would be a form of gatekeeping, the sort of toxic behavior that was done with the shit talking, this, just all this shit.
But would you say that either of you had like an easy time back then, or didn't you get a bunch of crap too?
Yeah,
like isn't it just kind of?
I got shit when I went online. If I didn't play perfectly, I got shit. You fucking suck, you noob.
Yeah,
definitely made it hard to get into.
So I don't know. It might have been unique in that like everybody would kind of pile on the same person, but I think we all definitely experienced some of that. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it bullying. I would say like teasing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just what boys do. It's just what kids do.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know.
We used to do
Wouldn't
it with
be
Manhunt.
equality to just make fun of everyone. Yeah.
When you caught the person, you kicked the shit out of them.
Oh yeah. You've got to. I mean, everyone has their turn.
Oh, well, I don't know if I exactly agree with that sort of attitude generally, but some people talk about, yeah, you can just mute it. You lose advantage if you just mute the team speak. I'm like, half the time, even with team speak, it really doesn't help things out. It makes things worse half the time also. If you mute the
Yeah, but that's where you learn like some of your best insults. You learn to take
yeah,
it. You learn to dish it out.
Honestly, it's the biggest.
I don't know.
It's the
like,
biggest problem with kids today. Is it was that anti-bullying movement, which I'm sure spawned partially off of some of this bullshit.
Is that Jonathan
They were
Haidt
bully hunters.
coddling in the American mind?
like
Well, not even that.
Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone's special.
Yeah, participation.
Well, so there's definitely that, but yeah, I believe it's the anti-fragility term though that is more apropos for this. You learn to like build a resistance. You actually grow calluses. Like it actually makes you stronger to keep doing something that, it could hurt at first, but you will actually grow from it. It's that whole thing. Like, a glass, if you drop it, it's not going to get stronger. We're resilient. We actually do. We will get stronger if you do actually, put yourself against some sort of opposing force. We are anti-fragile, as I believe it's Nassim Taleb, but I could be wrong on the author of that. But yeah, Haidt definitely talks about the concept of anti-fragility a lot, but I think it's a little bit more of that concept. We have gone the other way with like this helicopter parenting, like everybody needs to be protected at all times. Yeah, it's very. It's going to do the opposite of what we want to do with society to keep bubble wrapping and.
I mean, I understand wanting to have a little bit of
proofing everything
that within gaming culture, sort of tone it down, make it more PC friendly. So it's not as I'm talking about from a marketing perspective. I'm talking about from the game developers, why they would keep that sort of stuff out to get more players in, and why they kowtow to all these companies instead of just be like, we're not going to go that far. And they just keep pushing and
why not
pushing.
have like an adult's room?
The problem with just sort of
Adult Swim.
Well, maybe that would be a good option. I don't know why no one brings that up. But in the context of Gamergate, they sort of saying there's any harassment at all, it's not worth addressing ethics until there's no harassment. And the Gamergaters could not control everyone. They tried to, from what I've seen going through all these freaking videos. Maybe Sargon was lying when he said they had report people for people who are doing this stuff, but also the other side would rather, instead of going to the police with these harassment, they would rather talk about it on social media. Like, look at the harassment I'm getting. And I see a bit of that today. Anyone says anything bad about anyone or says anything slightly out of line, it sort of becomes the worst thing in the world. And I'm by bringing up Gamergate is sort of like a bridge I'm trying to bring up because, yeah, it was a critical function where no one wanted to be seen as toxic online. They don't want to get banned or kicked off of Twitter. There's some people who didn't care about that, like Sargon, who were just like, fuck it. They're not going to listen. Might as well do my edgy stuff. And they come back and they try to be less edgy.
He tried to go out and be edgy in the real world. I don't know. He tried to clean it up a bit, but then, he made that comment and that kind of sunk everything. But
and now he has some of the weirdest positions that freaking short fat otaku.
Now he does.
Have to.
Yeah, now that is so strange. I guess I don't understand the desire for monarchism. I don't know. That's weird.
He's moved to dad and trying to do this high level thinking. But that's just something we're going to have to face with things on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know shit about those guys.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sort of coming to a determination. So Gamergate, you think that just sort of pushed all the negative aspects more into sort of the darker realm. That's what I'm starting to think.
I don't know that it did necessarily, because it's the same push that's been going kind of in a lot of places, and it kind of, like Anita Sarkeesian kind of talks about it. It's that same type of deal. Once you start seeing systems, you start seeing racism everywhere, you start seeing sexism everywhere, you need to point it out everywhere, and then you need to do something about it. It is, I don't know, like if you look at it, it goes back to like critical pedagogy, where they're just kind of spreading that same type of message. I think that it's kind of the tip of a spear. It, was kind of the first mainstream. Yeah. It's the first mainstream like breach where you saw like literally the companies are now saying, hey, all of our fans are racist and sexist. But as you see it all going on everywhere else, I believe it's that same ideology. It's not necessarily they are the same people from Gamergate. But I think you would have seen this somewhere else. I think this is just the first appearance of this actual flood coming out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. It just seems to be the right place, right time.
Okay. Right place, right time. Right people at the right place. But yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, then you had... I'm wondering if the breadtuber rise and the video game essayist sort of was a reaction, and they got more credibility from people pushing this stuff. Even someone like H Bomber Guy, who really didn't have much knowledge. Personally, I think I don't know what to make of H Bomber Guy, but I know a lot of his videos are. Especially early on during Gamergate, he became more refined. I'd probably have something against him because I personally went through his Fallout 3's garbage, and I've seen Mueller
Didn't he recently make like a pretty decent one though? Am I wrong? Was he not the one who kind of showed Illuminati's thing?
Yeah, that was a tweet. He didn't do a video, but yeah, that was a big strike. I mean, I think he's been sort of pushing. He's sort of been better nowadays. I mean, he did Deus Ex is fine. Then he did that cringe post that Parallax, the Doomer's new channel. Let me not spread that name too much. He recommended H Bummers guys, but that guy is sort of a little cringe.
I don't know.
Doomer's
I like Doomer.
You like Doomer? Okay. I was one of his first critics. Did you watch?
I like Doomer.
I think you watched that video where I tore into it.
Yeah,
it was a horrible video audio wise, but I kept it and I put it back up just for posterity.
I think every once in a while, Doomer is really like perfect for the situation. When I was dying for them, I was like sending out the Doomer whistle when Katie was on. Like he's a perfect person to have in that situation. Awesome. He's like, he's almost like Trump. He's like a hammer looking for a nail. You know what I mean? Like he'll belligerently go in there and just be like, well, what about this? And he definitely he can be like a little annoying, but he's got good comedic timing.
Yeah,
he does. That dude knows. He knows comedy.
Yeah,
I like Doomer.
He's funny.
He's hilarious.
Yep, and he got racked.
But I strongly disagree with his take on Chappelle's comedy.
Yep.
I would want to argue that, but I believe he might have rescinded the take since he did try to scrub the internet of it.
And he still has...
I'm not sure.
He still has Anna Waifu's take, but he doubled it up. Anna Waifu, in one of her videos, I've been playing video games for 15 years, and I say I don't care about cutscenes. He had 30 years, so I found that just hilarious that they had almost identical takes.
I did see that argument. I did like that debate. Yeah. Doomer getting progressively more frustrated. That was pretty awesome.
So I think the objective criticism. Let's move away from. I probably didn't spend enough time, but I sort of want to get to the modern day discourse. You guys aren't as familiar as it, so you'll be a good sounding board for this. I hope. I don't know if Anna would have been a really good sounding board for this, since she seems to have gone into the declining phase of this. But
she's on the decline.
Declinism, yeah. She's being a doomer.
Oh,
Anna. You were just talking.
I thought you were just talking crap behind her back.
No,
Sorry.
She's gone with the sort of doomer mentality that video games shouldn't have cutscenes, all this other stuff, that gamers don't care about it, and shit like that. And sort of,
I forgot you labeled her a declinerismist.
yeah, there's some people who just live in the past and be like, oh, all these good series are good in the past, so I'll accept them now and call them masterpieces, no matter if they have flaws. There's like extremes on both sides, sort of like you and your Doom Eternal take, where you were saying, oh yeah, it's completely perfect game.
Oh, it is perfect.
Oh, I'm
It's a
sure
great
you
game.
believe that, and not just being a contrarian.
If you have heard the soundtrack to it, I'm sorry, the Gent is amazing. And the
okay, I will admit
there
the
is no
soundtrack
Gent
was
better than the
definitely
soundtrack for that.
one of the best
If you want to
soundtracks
lift, just
for.
listen to that soundtrack. You will lift twice as much weight. It is amazing.
What about
It is
the
greatest
gameplay
soundtrack out there.
design?
What soundtrack would
I mean,
make
that's
me lift
okay.
half as much weight?
Okay. The gameplay design,
what I
it's okay. The soundtrack made it a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Gameplay,
it is
who cares?
amazing.
Yeah, Rags.
Yeah, the gameplay's all right. I mean, it's got some nostalgia there, and then the graphics are great. Handling's pretty good. Overall story's decent. But that
Eternal?
soundtrack, man.
Okay.
That soundtrack.
You have to judge it for the time, though. You can't like hold it to any kind of standard, but when it came out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is eternal.
Well, then it's
Yeah,
forever.
okay. You
It's in
can
the
criticize it eternally.
So
since it
then
has
you can
eternal in the title, I
criticize
guess.
it forever.
You can.
No, will.
You shouldn't, though, because it is amazing. And
Well, you can praise it forever then.
Okay, but yeah,
Eternally.
Gamergate.
Gordon, though, it is just so good. It is one of the few soundtracks I listen to a lot.
Well, I listen to a lot of the Shin Megami Tensei, but that's like opera,
Doesn't help me
dark
lift.
opera-ish. Yeah, I was a big fan of the opera soundtrack. I might just be a little floofsy. But yeah,
Mortal
Gamergate.
Kombat, best one.
Mortal Kombat.
I could lift to that. Yeah.
Okay, so Gamergate, you think just sort of marked a more PC fragile era. Doesn't that seem to be the case?
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
the mainstream sort of went and they still demonize Gamergate. I'm using Gamergate as a bridge to get to the modern day. I hope you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It is the same thing that we're seeing in a lot of these companies. I believe it is what everyone is calling woke now.
yeah, and that
But,
sort of
it's
gave
where you
rise.
first saw that calling all your customers like racist or sexist or whatever. But I mean, like, you're seeing all these different companies do it, from like Gillette to Bud Light to whoever.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be the next one.
Seems like they're going too
I don't
far,
know,
and
just-
there's a pushback now for it.
Yeah, but my whole argument is like, yes, this all happened. I hear a bunch of arguments that Gamergate started it all. I don't know. I think it's just the first time we saw it.
Yeah,
But
I think
it's the
most people will
trajectory
say
things are
that that's
going.
the first time they notice it. Like with Kyle Rittenhouse, that's the first,
Yeah.
just one of those litmus tests that if someone noticed it. And I am disappointed given that H Bomber guy. No, sorry, getting all these leftists. I think this one.
You meant Lance from the Serfs, right?
Oh, let's not even get
I'd now
into
like to
him.
bring on Matt Binder.
Oh, he sounds relevant, but I think I
This
need to
might not
refresh
be the
my-
right one.
You fucking idiot.
Oh, I forgot about old Sargon videos.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to seeing him talk now and being so posh.
Yeah, so posh. He used to use this little
We're
avatar.
continuing our discussion
Okay.
today of Gamergate, and I'm pleased to welcome Arthur Chu to the program. He's a writer who blogs about nerd culture for the Daily Beast and other websites.
I remember that guy.
Arthur, it's really great to have you on. It's been a
Okay,
couple
I
of
mean,
days
like
since we
this.
scheduled our interview, and I think a good place to start would just be kind of how you got pulled in to writing about video games.
Well, I don't really write about video games as a career or anything, but I've always been in gaming culture. I care a lot about it. Gamergate has been a very distressing and painful thing to watch, and I couldn't not talk about it when I tried to not talk about it, hoping it would go away when it was originally just one harassment campaign against Zoe Quinn. But as it got bigger and bigger, I didn't feel it was responsible of me or even possible of me not to talk about it.
Overlooking the absurdity of the idea of tens of thousands of people from around the world all gathering together to form an attack mob on 3 women in a consistent sustained assault for 2 months and over 3 million tweets now. if we were to accept Chew's proposition that Gamergate was based almost entirely around the harassment of Zoe Quinn, then it appears Gamergate are doing an exceptionally bad job and focusing far too much on journalistic ethics.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good thing to bring up, I guess. They could be skewed, but they were trying to keep it when they were on top. As I said, I watched a lot of the Sargon videos, and he really sounded like he was, at least optically, he was on top of this, trying to keep it about ethics and not harassing these women, just bringing them up maybe as sort of a jump board.
Yeah.
Broads.
Because there have been 16,914 tweets this month involving Zoe Quinn from either side, or direct replies to her account. And there have been 1.8 million tweets about Gamergate and people claiming to be concerned about journalistic ethics. It would seem that a committed group of misogynists from around the world who have banded together for 2 months and 3 million tweets to attack these 3 women would have shown a lot more focus than Gamergate appears to have done in this scenario.
And if you were to, of course, you've written a lot about it, but for the audience who may not be familiar with your take on this, what is your primary concern when you characterize what Gamergate is?
It's a reactionary movement.
What an absolutely pointless statement. Every movement is reactionary.
Mostly.
Now he's neo-reactionary, right?
Yeah, now Sargon's gone the new reaction, beyond reaction. But let's not judge him too harshly. He did have to go through many, many years and a failed candidacy.
That's a re-reaction.
Brand of extreme progressivism is reactionary.
It's primarily driven by a sense that games culture is changing negatively because of its exposure to the outside world, particularly to what they think of as a feminist ideology.
Why would they think that?
A lot of people driven by, but not entirely, young white men who
Hashtag not your cracker.
have been the demographic, the core audience for gaming,
What, even for this game?
reacting with this extreme violent possessiveness to things that threaten to change their hobby.
So we have established that you are trying to change the hobby then.
And I wrote something about how you see this kind of reaction in other venues in music. We actually have had a similar conflict like that in written science fiction with the
Okay, I will agree with this. It should have been stomped out. You guys know about the science fiction thing?
No.
Yeah. It seems like it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know. It just kind of blew up bigger in.
Yeah, they pointed to some
Gamergate.
horrible, misogynist, racist people within the sci-fi community, and they got ousted. Okay.
Yeah.
And
But
sci-fi people are weird.
I don't know.
Oh, thank you, Patrick.
I mean, they're no fantasy writers.
No.
I'll give them that.
Oh, they don't sit in their little dusty little bins and just imagine
they call it the
busty
library
elves.
or the study.
Yeah. Okay, let's not rehash this. You already lost a fantasy by sprinkling it all on. This is what fantasy
I don't even want
gets
to
you.
rehash it.
You weren't there.
That
Okay.
fucking-
What were your thoughts
I
on that?
watched.
Who won? Yeah, we
Nope.
didn't ask anyone. Who won?
No one. Everybody was
The audience.
Everybody.
The
No,
audience
the audience lost too. Just
Oh
watch it.
God! I think it's
That was-
all your fault, Gray, for sprinkling your fantasy all over the place.
You
At
were
least
like,
that's
what do
my
you-
story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah,
What do you like
I
better,
actually,
chocolate or vanilla?
Project
how could
Hail.
you- How could you guys have even debated that fucking debate? Who came up
I
with
think
that?
it
I
was
like
more of a
swirl.
discussion.
Give me both, but just give me a sprinkling of fantasy on there. I enjoy it.
I have some videos about like a really horrible article written about Project Hail Mary, Andy Weir, basically the president of the site of one of these awards, basically completely distorted. Like, he's a scientist, yet he didn't even think about saying non-binary. And I'm like, this is completely ridiculous what she's criticizing him for. She in fact used your example that Weir's normally so hard sci-fi, but this used light sci-fi elements. That's a point against you in your argument, Gray. Your hard
What?
sci-fi definition. This woman is
Hey, I'm not the one who created that definition. It exists out there.
yeah, but your definition of supernatural is rather loose. Yeah.
it just goes on a scale from very hard sciencey to fantastical.
What was it again? It was
There's a sprinkling.
It was what's better. Is that what you guys were debating?
Sort of. It was more of a discussion and having
which one's
fun.
more gooder?
Gooder. Definitely
Well, I'll tell you-
sci-fi, but
I'll just put my hat in the ring too. I'm sorry, Gray. You know, I like sci-fi way better than fantasy.
Okay, but do you?
We're not going to
would
debate
you
it.
like The Martian,
what?
or would you like like a Star Wars type of deal?
they're both sci-fi, but
Yeah, they're
one
both
has
still
more
sci-fi.
fantasy elements.
Fair enough.
No, because the problem is,
And I'm
that
just
you
saying
guys
it's best
never-
with a little sprinkling of fantasy. I know that's not why we're here. It's okay. You guys can see
No,
the
it's all
point.
right.
We'll
But
just
I'm
move
just going to
on.
say that sci-fi was something that could potentially happen. Like, there's like mechanics for it, and it's based in technology, and fantasy is based on
and fantasy
like,
gets you cave trolls like
on,
this
like,
guy on
elements
screen
and-
right now. This is how.
Hey,
Yeah.
he is a sci-fi fan. He knew everything that happened in that previous sci-fi debacle. You know why? Because he's a sci-fi fan.
a couple of my
I shouldn't
coworkers
Is
are.
what a sci-fi fan looks like.
I shouldn't.
I love sci-fi, I love all that shit, but it's funny. I got on one side of me, I got a guy who's hardcore Star Trek, like Next Generation, every episode, and I love that too. But and then on the other side is Star Wars, and like they legit have like Star Wars and Star Trek memorabilia at their desks, and they get fucking pissed off at each other all the time. It's so
That's
fun.
probably funny. I love the Star Wars, Star
really
Trek
funny.
debates. I really do. I mean, personally, I go with Star Trek, but I can see the appeal of Star Wars also.
I don't like Star Wars.
I can see the appeal,
Wow.
especially not the new one or the.
I saw
prequels.
it in the theater. I don't need to see it ever again.
Yeah, I think this guy's a fantasy fan, anyways.
Hugo Awards this year with a huge political spat with right-wing authors, quote unquote, trying to take back science fiction from the feminists and the PC left.
Yeah,
I'm really
deflection.
baffled as to why you'd say that. Alan, because
Sounds like he
you
knows
make
a
it
lot about
sound like
sci-fi.
People in Gamergate have a good.
No,
point.
but
If the
fantasy's
extreme
under the
progressive
Hugo
left is doing
Awards
this
also.
all over in many other areas of life, then maybe the problem is with the extreme left.
And it's the same thing. All of the stuff about ethics boils down to attacking people based on what they see as an ideology that's changing their culture.
That's true, Arthur. And they say ethics because they think that you are changing their culture by removing the ethical values that they hold from it.
And it's interesting because the more I dig into this, and with every subsequent interview, we're doing more and more research on.
I have to point it out. This tweet is fucking games journalism. Who gives a flying fuck? That's sort of like the Space Wizards argument that I hear from some people defending the new Star Wars sequel trilogy. It's sort of funny when it's something they like. Who cares? But keep it in anyways. I'm sure neither one of you guys want to get into that sort of EFAP-ish debate, but I thought I'd bring it up. How long that sentiment's been around. I think even H Bomber Guy before the sort of EFAP movement had a whole series of videos talking about the racist menace before even the Phantom Menace was really a thing. That's just the sentiment's always been there, but they've always tried to push it back with claims of racism. It's just sort of funny how more things change, the more they stay the same, it seems. I think personally the people against this stuff has a stronger argument, but that's a personal opinion of mine.
Fair enough.
It's a correct one.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, he splices in a little bit of Turtle Biscuit coverage because this guy
where
coming
Some
on.
people, including Stephen Totillo of Kotaku, do not believe that friendly relationships require disclosure. And there are people that fervently disagree with that particular idea. And I'm one of those people. We have the issue of Game Journo Pros, which was a Skype group in which a large number of games journalists spoke to each other. And there are several allegations, including the blackballing of ex-Destructoid journalist Alistair Pinsoff, that are tied in some way to a degree of collusion within that group. These are, again, things that need to be investigated. Investigation is ongoing. And I think you'll see the theme here, and that's the betrayal of trust of the consumer. And that is all very much compounded by the release of these Gamers Are Dead articles, which I do genuinely feel poured petrol on the fire.
How would you characterize that claim? Is that a
Which
claim
is
that
not-
doesn't resonate with you?
It's nonsense because they are focusing on the issues that have the least to do with journalistic ethics.
That's ridiculous, Arthur. Gamergate is concerned about ethical practices within the industry across the board.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely seems like some serious deflection. Just focusing a single focused voter or something like that. It's just not. Yeah, you talked. There's a section where Sargon's talking about to a BBC. He keeps on bringing up the harassment, and Sargon keeps having to be like, it's bad, but this is what we're trying to focus on. I think that's where he talks about how there's people on Twitter monitoring this shit to sort of like monitor policing your own community. That can be important. And obviously the game journalists don't care about policing. They want to abolish the
It's
police.
also weird how
So
they. Yeah, no, I sorry for cutting you off there. No, please go right ahead. You're right. I just think it's odd when they talk about that.
yeah, but they want their own police force. They definitely held up those sort of police-free zones that they set up after George Floyd. And how well did those turn out? And how did they react when the police and paramedics thought that going into those places were too dangerous? They bitched about that too. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
What the fuck we talking about?
Nothing. We went on a slightly political sidetrack. That
Yeah, I zoned out for a second. I come back and we were talking about George Floyd.
Well,
I'm like,
we were
whoa.
talking about policing, how the single issue, and they sort of want to get rid of the sort of policing. Like this guy's talking about how who cares about the ethics? We have to protect the minority, or in this case, the females who are being harassed, and completely not addressing that Total Biscuit trying to bring up. And he's talking about this. Total Biscuit reveals shady code.
But it's weird. Like they, they drag these gamer gators as sexist and everything like that. They don't give them credit though for like the money that was raised for women in gaming and everything like that on behalf of Gamergate. It's weird. Like they're somehow attributing this harassment from a few to the many, but then the actual like support that's coming from the many that identify, they will not accept that. Instead, they're just forever branded as sexist. It just doesn't make sense. I can't remember the name of the group, but they did, I think it was over 70,000 for women in gaming.
Fine Young Capitalists
of Gamergate. Yeah, that's the one.
And Zoe Quinn was pretty much it's not provable that she did it herself, but one of her fans definitely doxed them and got them a lot of shit when they were trying to just design a game. They basically just wanted ideas from women so they can create a game based on an idea from a woman to show women can make games in the industry. And Zoe Quinn didn't like that, so she sort of made a fuss about it. And you can't say directly that it was her fault, but I think you can use a little bit of nuance to think she had a hand in that sort of fine young capitalist debauchery, and they've been off the internet since then. They're gone.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question here. What maybe I'm skipping ahead here. I don't know. What do they have a solution for this fucking problem, or is it
for the harassment, or for
is this
the
like
ethics?
I'm coming into this again with a lot of these internet things with very little knowledge, and I feel like I'm listening to or watching an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, and I'm going to get to the end here, and there's going to be no fucking solution. We're not going to know who killed the person. So,
maybe. I mean, have you seen like the kind of the controversy with what's the new one called? Is it Fable or
the trans
whatever.
thing?
But yeah, like
or
the
non-binary
main character is made. A lot of people that claim that they're saying is that she is made unattractive on purpose.
Oh,
have
yeah.
you seen that one going around Twitter? So, I mean, that might be the result of this whole movement, that women are over-sexualized. When you see a character, like if you choose a female character, it's only because she's sexy. So they want to move away from that. So what we're seeing now might be the direct result of this, but it's kind of the same thing that you've seen in every industry.
Yeah.
You know, it's you guys are sexist, racist, homophobic, whatever. Everything needs more equity. Everything needs to be more equitable. Basically, the thing is representation, and for sure getting different voices in there, which might not be a bad idea, but it depends how you do
Yeah.
it. And
I mean, when you force
I
it
don't know
in
if
and go against really the conventions and just be like, fuck the conventions, we're just going to force
When
feed
you
this
go-
down your throat instead of gradually moving towards that in a more natural manner.
Yeah.
It's
When you
the
go against
paradox of
nature.
tolerate. You can't tolerate intolerance. What's the paradox of intolerance?
No, it's that. It's if you start tolerating intolerance, it will lead to intolerance. But so what's the solution to be intolerant to the intolerance?
Yeah, the paradox.
I don't know. Either way, you're getting intolerance from that. That's why you need, in my opinion, which, means jack shit. But it would be, you let everyone speak and then you hear each other out. And hopefully somebody would be able to tell you what's wrong with your idea. And then you'd be able to see the utility in somebody else's.
Yeah, compromise.
And the reigning idea would go through.
Well,
I would hope so.
Your opinion matters to me. Now shut up.
Fair enough.
And I saw the argument that
I've learned
they
that.
were trying to get Gamergate to change their name. That was something like a compromise. I didn't see that as a compromise. That seemed like a weakening of the movement. Oh, you change your name because this is associated with all this. No, you associated this, and we can't be sure. You claimed that this harassment, even though it was going on with Anita beforehand, that it comes from Gamergate, and that they just couldn't prove it solidly. I'm sure there's some people who moved into Gamergate who used that as a smokescreen to sort of do their harassment, but I don't think that's the majority of the people serious about the ethics in gaming. They saw this, as in Stitch's video, and it just woke them up. The litmus tests, the Kyle Rittenhouse, or of the gaming industry. And the sad part is I don't see this actually going on in sci-fi as they brought up. I don't see anyone talking about this going on in sci-fi. And that actually sort of irritates me. I doubt I could. I've tried.
I mean, it's kind of going on in publishing right now.
I'm sure.
Like, have you heard of what are they called? Equity readers?
Oh yeah. I mean, I do know about all this. They have people.
I mean, like, it might not be sci-fi specific, but it does seem to be in, the book industry, the author industry. So yeah, an equity reader basically reads through and tries to tell you elements that could be more equitable, things that could be changed, things that aren't sensitive, or they've also got sensitivity readers, which are the same type of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does affect the major publishing houses. So if you're going independent, which you could do a lot more now, it wouldn't necessarily affect you. But it does affect a lot of the big ones out there. So if there's some big sci-fi novels that you're talking about, they could be affected by it.
Oh, Andy Weir basically published his book online, and he got a deal. He got a movie. Hell, even Dennis E. Taylor, the person I'm trying to get, who did the Bobaverse series, that I really think is very similar to Weir, but with more references.
I gotta check that one out.
Definitely more of a Star Trek instead of Star Wars. They bring up Star Wars because very reference. He's a geek in the 2000s. He uses a lot of references. But yeah, he got his deal through, he self-published, then he got a deal through Audible. That's also another avenue that writers can take nowadays. And some stories work better through Audible books. So, like a lot of Orson Scott Card's. He did amazing stuff even early on with audiobooks with full cast readings.
Yeah,
But
I'm just a sucker for audiobooks.
yeah, there's just easier way. I don't have to sit down and read. I can move around and do dishes or take a little walk or jog if I'm feeling ambitious while listening. have to go to the store, get in the car, don't have to put anything in. I used to do a lot of road trips and got into audiobooks that way.
Yeah, I had like a heavy labor intensive job, but I could listen to stuff. So I was doing like 10-hour shifts, and it took me like an hour to get there, an hour to get back. So I'd listen to like 12 hours a day back when it was like on CDs. So I go through like a book a day. So I just listened to way too many. And then like Audible came around and it's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm just avid audiobook fan.
Same here. Same here. I mean, I wish I could get into more. Like, I still keep on struggling through wheel time. But let's move on before you complain about that.
The difference between
Oh
you
my
and this
God, it's so
publisher
amazing
is that
though.
this
Kate
publisher
Redding.
will admit when they are wrong, and they will do so for reasons that I will explain shortly.
If they cared about journalistic ethics, they would be attacking the mainstream gaming culture that pushes a certain kind of game on the public because of a very narrow view of what would sell.
Chew, that sounds exactly like that kind of social justice Marxist crap. When a publisher releases a game, they are not thinking, how can we dictate to our audience? They are thinking, how can we best cater to our audience? And if you find those games don't cater to you, then you are not the target audience. Also, that's got nothing to do with ethics. That's your personal preferences.
Would be attacking the so-called AAA games. They're doing the opposite of that. They are defending AAA games from criticism, from the fringe, from academics, from the indie media by saying that those people are corrupt.
No, you are both corrupt. The difference is that when game publishers are caught red-handed, they do not turn around and declare war on their consumers.
They cared about.
Yeah, and I think he brings up later, it's much harder. AAA publishers, when they're corrupt, they take loose ends. There's a lot of stories coming out now. I have a video, the video I put on my community tab talked about pretty much the ZeniMax, how there's good evidence that ZeniMax was just pushing to push up the value of Fallout 76 with the microtransactions to sell off the company. And he talked about that Redfall, a recent thing that everyone was saying was a horrible game, except for a few people who are diehard fans of, I guess, that idea. They were pushing back on that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are pushing back on AAA companies nowadays, and they're even pushing back on what they consider shills. Like Anna Waifu talking about them being shrills. Shills. Yes, slip of the tongue can sometimes be funny.
Oh, definitely.
But I think this definitely is a good backbone. Gamergate was definitely something where people started pushing back, and there was clear collusion with the indies. And it's not so obvious the problems in the AAA gaming company because they don't make it so obvious. They're just trying to sell games and be as inoffensive. Why indie games could have pushed games and have problems to nepotism. Basically, Fez, the game, even though this guy that we were watching the history of, Never Knows Best, was talking about Fez as such a great game. It won twice, 2 years in a row. That seems a little weird on the front. And when you find out about all this other stuff, it makes people look, and that's really what I think Gamergate came from.
Yeah.
And I really think it sort of moved on to the anti-push on the internet to push back against a lot of the skeptics. I think the atheists who were the skeptics, Atheism Plus sort of broke down the skeptic community in the subsequent areas,
like it.
which sort of broke down the skeptics. So it became, because the skeptics were both right wing. They were actually mainly left wing, anti-woke left wingers, and Atheist Plus sort of broke that community apart, sort of like Gamergate.
But that's what I mean. It was very much like Gamergate. Like the same thing was kind of going on in multiple areas.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it was just this and then it spread like a zombie plague or anything. Like it was in the, I don't know if you want to call it the zeitgeist, because again, it kind of goes back to the same type of ideology. And it just was spreading in a whole bunch of different factions.
Yeah, and then we got into the era of basically consumerism, people calling out consumerism practices. Like Rags was really big back in the day with the PC market, calling out anti-consumer practices. He doesn't do much nowadays, but he used to do that a lot. He also was against the SJWs, but that's sort of where I'm seeing a lot of the videos going around, the anti-consumerism. Originally, it was about calling out companies. I think it's sort of filtering down. Like, take a look at this. I mean, there was the bread tubers, and I think sort of the objective people sort of started picking apart philosophy tube, and a lot of these media critics who used very sus language to sort of push certain things and certain ideas. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts about that? The bread tube versus the subjective versus objective crowd that happened like during the rise of
Yeah.
Mahler and EFAP's rise in the beginning, or not much
Yeah.
thoughts there?
I think you're right. I think it's kind of the exact same thing. It seems like it is very similar ground. It just happens to be the same type of ideology, but from a different way. But it's kind of, they were calling themselves the other side of Comicsgate, was proclaiming SJW. It was in the name of social justice. So I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like it is rather similar, but again, it's just from different parts of culture, different factions that they necessarily hit this.
And you guys are
it didn't
probably
seem like it was necessarily coming from.
You guys.
Sorry, go right ahead.
You guys are familiar with the anti-Comicsgate crowd, and
yeah,
at least that would be more your ballpark. And they sort of tried to learn from the mistakes of Gamergate with Comicsgate. There was a few hiccups here and there with certain people. It sort of morphed into something, and you're getting pushback where someone like Dane and Bob are getting any sort of influence. I don't even know how anyone giving them any credibility, and they're getting pushed back now. They're not even that big, but I think it is good that they are getting pushed back. Oh, all went bad after Vagina Monologues. I think Penis Puppets was a worse.
I don't know who that guy is, but he's based.
Yeah, very based. But yeah, I think Penis Puppets had a more damaging effect on our society.
I thought if I glossed over and made a joke, you would stop talking about the penis puppets. But you're right. You're right. That had a horrible effect on society, and perhaps people thinking that they were going to an actual puppet show only to be shocked.
I mean, Vagina Monologues
I
started that horrible trend there.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually, it was just a title. Unfortunately, it was not the case with Puppetry of the Penis.
Okay, let's get off of that. You're right. You should have just walked it off with a joke. But yeah, then you get into this.
I tried to, man. You circle back to it.
Sorry.
And now we're still talking about it.
Okay. Back to the objective versus subjective. I'm trying to get to the final point so we can end the stream. Because I do want to get to an end point here. I have a few videos to sort of demonstrate, but I need to walk through all the steps and see if I'm correct on some of these steps. So you have the anti-consumer practices, which sort of turned into the sort of critics, YouTube critics, because originally it was the mainstream publication press. Then you have the indie press, which was about Gamergate. Then you have sort of Comicsgate was also another step, and you have people in comics bound into comics, Bleeding Cool, that sort of fight. And now on YouTube, we have a lot. Well, there's always sort of been a back and forth, but frankly, I think mostly what would be considered right wing or anti woke or anti SJW has always had a strong presence on YouTube. But the bread tubers, I think, was changing around in the culture war for a couple years there, and it started waning. Definitely in the last, like Lindsay Ellis leaving because she was getting harassed, but that was her own side who was pretty much doing it. They were starting to eat their own with those sort of takes there. So you had that bread tube, and who is this now? We have people like Vosh. I like actually Destiny. I don't.
So you'd call him Post? Because
Bread
I'd
tube.
always heard that he was kind of like. So what would you consider Hassan then? Is he BreadTube light, or is he just a streamer? Because I know he's a lefty.
No,
I'd always
he's
heard
definitely
them in
still
the BreadTube.
Post. I would consider him Post BreadTube also. I mean, he couldn't actually handle anyone. I mean, even though Destiny wouldn't be considered BreadTube, he definitely had. I think he is probably the only one who really stands above that sort of Destiny's only stands. He's still going for the red pillars. And how's he taking on the red pillars? By going on their podcast and making them look like jokes. It's been very successful. Also, Moist Critical's been pushing back on a lot of people have been pushing back on these red pillars. And frankly,
also Destiny's wife, Melina, has done quite some damage to their side.
You think so?
The Red Pillar side.
Okay.
Yeah, with that whole, I can't remember his name, MD something. Yes, very much so.
There seems to be a very strong, Red Pillars have united a lot of people, commentary communities, always making. Andrew Tate is just a joke at this point. He wants to LARP is alpha male, why almost everyone on the internet makes fun of him. Even Hassan got a win on him. And to be owned by Hassan, oh, God.
Yeah, you must be having an off day.
Off life is more like that.
Fair enough. I just would have thought that he could at least handle Hassan, but I don't know.
His ideology just falls apart under any amount of scrutiny. He can't accept it. And then
fair enough.
So what I've been seeing for video games has been a weird mismatch, I think, of both I would say actually, because you even have someone, you probably don't know about this, but one of the people I did a video on, Kim, was sort of making fun of SJWs while still hinting that J.K. Rowling is a horrible bigot. It is sort of
she might be, depending on how you look at things.
She might be, but
I don't know. Was she always bigoted? Because I don't know that her position is necessarily
I think
changed.
her position, she's become very trolly and very nasty on Twitter and how she deals with criticism online. Thanks to her
sick of everybody's shit.
Yeah, I mean, she tried to be progressive. She tried to, I think the trans movement just by constantly pushing her, she seemed to been wanting to get into that, but she felt it was pushing back on traditional feminism that she preached and she probably learned.
Well, that's what I mean by like, did her position necessarily change on
No,
that?
I don't
'Cause
think
I think it would probably be for women's only spaces like before, and it seems to be what she's pushing for
There
now.
are some extremists on the turf side, but I think some of them are reasonable at least.
Isn't she pro-trans too, though? I mean, like she's not like anti-trans. She just is pro women's space.
She's anti-trans activism. She thinks there's certain lines like they shouldn't encroach on women's spaces. She would be fine with trans if they didn't try to put very self-identified males who just self-identify as females into prisons and maybe rape shelters. That seems to be her line in the stand. She just wants to, my understanding, it could be a dog whistle, but frankly, they sort of tainted the well by calling everything a dog whistle, the left, in my opinion. Just when you just say everything like the OK hand symbol, they've just gone too far.
Well, it's like literally every term that we have right now.
Yeah, you can make anything racist. It's the Anita quote. It goes back way back to Anita.
Well, yeah, everything's racist. Everything's woke. Everything's bigoted.
Sexist.
Everything's.
And it's your job to point it out.
Exactly. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore.
And why I understand people saying woke's gone too far. I've seen a lot of the because of people like Synthetic Man talking about things being woke when his definition is just way too broad. I think just him labeling everything woke. I mean, he could be doing it as a troll, but I think he just doesn't understand it. He just wants to be left alone and just has this sort of declinism about the gaming industry and blaming it on something that it's not. The culture definitely has a woke culture with cancel, but that's getting pushed back from like the red pillars, these extreme people going after Hogwarts left. I think I don't know if this is a good thing, but it seems to be the discourse, everything that's even seems like it's extremely woke. Well, it's more, they're pushing back more on this idea of wokeism. I think they really have tainted the well for wokeism. So anyone who uses that term, I've been seeing more of a pushback on that. And I think it's actually starting to work. What do you guys think?
I like I said, I think it's the same for fucking everything. Every word out there, it's tainted on every side. So yeah, woke is definitely it's diluted. I was just gonna say something. I totally lost my train of thought. I'm getting so fucking tired.
Yeah, we'll probably be closing this down soon. I want to get to my final idea. Okay.
Final thoughts in honor of Jerry.
Not final thoughts. Final idea. I want to know your impression. Okay. Well, this video.
Whose impression am I supposed to do?
Michael Jackson. Give me a wee hee hee hee. Do a moonwalk. Oh, that's good.
Good.
Okay, so this video has gotten a lot of criticism. Guess what he says in this video? Why people are pushing back. Why people are criticizing it so much.
Fantasy is better than
I'm
sci-fi.
not sure. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. Like, there's a little bit too much sci-fi in this. If he just sprinkled a little bit more fantasy on there, we'd have all enjoyed it more.
Just a little sprinkle.
We would have been immersed in the world. There would have been more world building. It would have been great.
So,
I'm guessing woke elements from our previous conversation.
Well, let me give you a sample.
Recordings just got
Okay.
Oh, way to go, StreamYard. Recordings got easier.
Very nice. Give me ads while I'm using it. He doesn't say shit. This is just a footage side by side, but he got criticism just for this title, which he changed almost in a troll. Soul versus soulless. Yeah, volume down. What do you think? People pick this apart and sort of be like, oh, you didn't use comparable scenes and stuff like that. I'm just the standards for calling people out. They tried to say he lowered the volume. Let's look at some of the comments. Maybe they're gone. They gave him shit for several things. Maybe the comments are gone. I just found this amazing. I'm like, what did this dude say when I heard, because I never heard of this YouTuber before. I'm like, what did he say? He's like, everyone was like, he doesn't say anything. It's just a side-by-side comparison of the remake and the original game. That's the title that freaked everyone out. That had criticism come down on him so hard among a certain group. Does that sound a little fragile where just the title and maybe just not precisely cutting together scenes from these two? There was even a claim that he turned down the volume at one section to make the remake sound worse.
They should have done a side by side.
Maybe, but I just find it almost seems fragile where certain gamers are just taking the littlest amount of comparison and trying to criticize someone over it.
This guy's obviously a grifter.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, this is just like something that's sort of like my Kyle Rittenhouse moment. I mean, I just don't. Sorry, there was a lot of videos just criticizing him over this, and I do not understand it
Yeah, I'm not understanding it either. People were upset over this. Is that what you're saying?
It was the title, and they were trying to make claims he didn't cut it correctly. That he was making the
I don't
new
know, it
Resident Evil look bad.
seems like
'cause-
approximations of the same scenes, but
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe because we don't hear it.
But do you think sort of this
I
overreaction?
mean, yeah, probably. I don't know. It all looks the same to me.
Yeah, most people. And I just found this amazing that so many people criticized him for this video where he says absolutely nothing. It's just something, and I'm wondering if it has to do with fragility. I'm coming to the conclusion, I think any perceived insult, no matter how light, like a title like Soul vs. Soulless, Resident Evil, along with, in their personal opinion, they didn't properly cut it in their personal opinion. I'm thinking this is a fragility thing and sort of a hyper anti-consumerism, but this is almost be a hyper. This guy, from my understanding,
how many views did it get?
It got quite a few. 1 million.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
more soul in the eye in that first one. I don't know.
And supposedly he got backlash on Twitter
Had
for
43% more soul.
people were saying
maybe he's smart though. Maybe he like
hate bait.
Yeah.
I think
he checked the algorithm.
I mean, I think he genuinely believes
it could be
this.
an algorithm thing for sure.
I think he genuinely
Okay.
believes this, and he didn't realize how people would badly react to it. It seemed just to take him off guard.
I don't know. I might be the wrong guy to ask on this because I think everyone should be able to have their opinion. So if this guy sees it as soulless, like, who am I to say that it's a wrong opinion? I would just, I don't see it. I would need to kind of have it explained to me a little bit more why he sees it as soulless.
I mean, there's a few
but
videos if you want to take a look into it.
I might have to. I'm definitely more familiar with like 1 through 3. 4 was a little out of my. I don't know. I kind of got.
You
out of
played
series
the
by then,
remake?
but then I got back into the remakes. Yeah.
I didn't play 3. I haven't played this. I want to actually play this, but I never jump on something right away. So this was like,
yeah,
sort of
me
the
too.
moment that I'm just like, I don't understand why they can be so critical of this. They made you can watch some videos. I think it's just hyper fragility, and I don't know for the remakes. I understand why some gamers are like, it's lazy. The industry is just remaking. They're not coming with the original
Kind of
ideas.
is.
It is.
But I mean,
thought-
like, you were a fan of the Easy Bake Oven one, right? The GameCube or whatever. The remakes of, like, was it just 1 and 2 on there? 3 might have been on there as well, but I just know 1 and 2 is just like so beautiful, and the gameplay was better than it was before. Like,
I remember
there are
1.
certain games that can definitely be improved.
Like Last of Us.
No, they actually the remake.
How many
of
times
that,
they're gonna remake that fucking thing?
the recent remake was horrible. He brought it up in the what's his name, Thunderstruck 115 brought up how badly that thing came out as the bugs
Wait,
and
'cause
shit like that.
They're doing a whole nother.
I'm not saying everyone.
one, right? They're doing like a whole nother one where it's like from scratch. They're doing it. Or did that already happen?
It might have happened for Last of Us 1. Yes, that was supposedly from scratch, and that turned out badly.
Oh no, that's a disappointment.
I mean, it might be approved because there's a lot of people who have to put it out. If it's bug, we'll fix it later. Like Cyberpunk 2077 was full of bugs, and a lot of
I love
things
that
were
game.
broken. Yeah, but it was broken from the start. I couldn't complete a couple of storylines in the beginning. But it was solid concept from the start. But if you said it was a good game, a lot of people online would jump down your throat. Sort of like the EFAP crew with their superior objective opinion. I am probably going to address that at some point. But
why you don't
I don't
like
know.
EFAP?
I think a lot of things come down to.
Sorry, Gray.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt that.
No,
I was just gonna say I think a lot of it comes down to taste. But yeah, he threw that grenade. What do you think, Vincent?
You don't like EFAP?
No, I have some issues with it. I think they're flawed. Okay. I think their objective criticism has some merit. I think it's very simplistic and reductive, and they use it as a shield, sort of. Because, come on, Patrick, you talk to Southpaw. I think same thing with Gray. Although I don't agree with Southpaw on a lot of things,
Yeah.
I do agree that criticism of that show was
Well,
unfair.
I mean, I don't want to go too much into his business,
Yeah.
but I think that was like
I'm not going to
that ju-
even go into that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
his
that just
battle.
seemed like it was about something else besides what they were actually arguing
Yeah.
about. But
Yeah.
but no, I mean, like, I don't watch them as much anymore. I just they started covering more games, and I don't really watch coverage on games.
Well,
but
yeah, I don't really cover Marvel very much, and supposedly everyone loves their Batman, Batgirl, make fun of sessions, but
yeah, they were really funny.
okay, I really didn't get into that. I just wanted to analyze their critical style when I started getting back into YouTube. Hell,
I think
almost a year ago.
I've watched all like 47 of the movies they have in their playlist, like the full movies. They're hysterical. Some are a little like boring actually, but the majority of them were so funny. But I agree, something weird happened, and I don't know if it's just my awareness and like learning more and seeing more channels, but like something changed there, and I think it was after all that Mishigash.
I think it was the Southpaw, not Southpaw. Sorry, I think it started back after Wolf sort of got into shit, and all that shit went down with his Discord drama. I looked over that. I haven't made a video on it. I don't know if I will. I don't know if Wolf wants anyone to make a video, so it feels weird to actually make a video on it, but I definitely went through a lot of that information that was rather bullshit, and I think that made the main core group rather cynical.
Yeah,
but I'm
Well,
not.
I think like most people, they got tired of being attacked online, and then they were just like, "Fuck it." And Mueller, I don't know, like, I don't know all his ins and outs, but it seems like he took the approach of like, I'm just not doing this. Like, I'm not gonna fight the world.
Yeah, but there's other stuff. I was in talked a little bit to Doomer about it also, and let me not even get into that now. But the point is that's one thing, and sort of I got recommended the whole Cretosis drama that I got blindsided by, sort of like how you guys got blindsided by all the attacks that happened after Gray had his debate against Bob. I had a similar thing happen to me, and that sort of came from looking for criticism for Fallout 3 and coming across getting recommended. I had people making fun of me on EFAP server, and I'm like, really? Are they really saying this? Are they even 4-hour video? That was funny. My little criticism of one of these people who seems to be very much of the ethos, but very dumber, because I wouldn't criticize EFAP too much, but definitely the disciples, people who use the ethos. In Cretosis' video, you could tell a very strong Mueller influence, along with a lot of critics of Fallout and Bethesda games in general, to be found in his video. It's sort of like how Dane sort of copies Vosh's playbook, and a lot of these people who attack Ant, who all did videos on Anne and attack a whole bunch of people together, they seem to come from, let me see, Griffin Gaming's sort of they were in Griffin Gaming's community before they turned on him, Brother Near. But let me not get, that's sort of my thesis, and they attacked this video from the
I think
Ackman.
the lesson is to stay out of the Discords.
Yeah, I think Discords create
Yeah.
a very tribal mentality if you take them too seriously. I mean, it's fine to use
sure.
Discords if you're trying to fish for information. Definitely.
I go to
That game looked fun.
I go to very, 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 very few, like 2. And
Yeah.
and that's enough for
I'm
me.
in a bunch, but I check too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm the same way. I try to get involved in some Discords and try talking to people. I swear, I don't know how it works. Maybe I
can't figure it out. My kids use it like crazy.
Yeah, but it's also trying to keep up with it sometimes. Try to establish a presence on Discord or something like that. I think is rather hard. It's rather time consuming. I think to really engage with Discord as most people would, and it's rather vapid conversations that I see going on. I don't see anything of substance being said, and sometimes when I try to bring something of substance, it seems to be like no one cares. And yeah, you just accept it for that and just stop bringing up things. Sometimes you get some good conversations out of it, but I think for the amount of effort I put into trying to get into some of these Discord groups, it's not worth the effort. You treat it like a joke, and maybe.
I don't know. I can't even find a goddamn room to talk in with anybody I even want to talk to. And once I find where I'm trying to get to, it's just like people fucking shouting at each other. So I have no idea. So I stay. I have at least on Twitter. I know who the fuck I'm fighting with, and on YouTube, obviously, I definitely know.
Yeah, as much as I hate,
I'm too old.
No, I don't even think it's about old. It's just about a mindset. You touch grass is a reason. There's a very good example of someone who's practically insane because of Discord. I think Jaden, a commentator. She just they make fun of her. She's a commentary, fairly big, and they just go at her. She goes in, freaks out, and like tries to be edgy and say the N word in chat, and everyone's like, then she gets pissed off when people do videos on her, and she DMC strikes it. And they
is she a black girl?
No, she's a trans girl. Yes.
Well, that should count for something.
Yeah, I mean, then it's fine.
I've been looking at commentary. I try. My problem is I try to see the relationship, because I do see a weird relationship between these communities online, and I think Discord is heightening it up. Like years ago, you wouldn't find sort of some of the crossover you do now. Like you see a lot of commentary channels talking with political channels, and a lot of gaming channels talking with commentary channels, a lot of crossover.
Just a bunch of people trying to start shit.
I think that's actually their core. They're trying to find more reason. Like Brother Near. Let me just lay this one thing down. There's basically this one Discord drama where they were playing Truth or Dare, and this one Minecraft YouTuber or Roblox YouTuber, I forget now. He a Truth or Dare. He asked a underage girl to send a foot pic, and Brother Near 2.0 did. Yeah, it's weird even in Truth or Dare in the context, and how many times younger men just like turning 18 or 19 end up talking to these younger girls and requesting nudes. I don't think people under 18 should be in Discords personally. It just seems like, or you should be required to have your age on your Discord account at the very least. That's what I'm starting to
that way
think.
the predators can find you right away.
I don't even think. I think some of these people.
Why don't you just, instead of their age, just put a bullseye next to them?
I think there's also a lot of these younger people who think, yeah, let me try to sex with this big YouTuber or someone else mod in this YouTube Discord and try to make a drama about it. I can't prove that, but with all this stuff going on, I'm starting to think there's a lot of baiting and a lot of attentional pedo baiting would be what I would call it. I can't confirm it, but a lot of desperate incel guys who sort of are losing touch with reality. As we said, gamers sort of aren't the best around women. They're not socially conditioned very well, and I think Discord.
What?
Yeah.
No, from everything I've heard, they're very suave with the lady types.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, the gamers, it's what every girl desires.
I mean, the more I look into this, I just think age restrictions or definitely some age shit should be placed on this because there's way too much shit going on, and it seems sometimes it's rather minor. Like the one story, the guy just got a foot pick from a minor, and someone.
I don't know. That's not that minor though.
Huh?
Yeah, that doesn't seem so. I think asking a kid for feet pics is
Kid, I think it was
really
a
weird.
16-year-old to
Yeah.
19-year-old though, or maybe it was 15 to
Well, if
19.
they're 19, that's a big difference than
Yeah, I was thinking like
15.
I was thinking like
I'm
a
not
guy
talking.
my age.
I'm not talking to adult. I'm talking someone who's just went over the line. There was a person, Synthetic Man attacked, who ended up talking to a girl and getting some really weird stuff, more sexual stuff from her. He just turned 18 and
Yeah,
she
that
was
seems
like
weird.
15. And yes, it's definitely weird, and definitely he shouldn't have done that. He
Well, I
should have
think
been.
that's probably illegal then.
It might be, and but it's definitely you listen it out, and she definitely seemed like as soon as after she did it, she was trying to I don't even want to get into that story, but I'm just saying Discord is fucked up overall, and I think age restrictions for
Fair enough.
I think a lot
Yeah.
of dumb men just are lonely, and if someone, I don't even know if they are females, no matter what age, they just want that interest in the other sex. There's just so much bullshit involved in that. But why did we get off on this tangent? I think we're all tired.
I like to divert.
I
always
think
like
you
to-
wanted to talk about it. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
you-
want to talk about it because I have a lot of thoughts on it, but yeah,
you
there's
know,
just
it's not that much different than I'm old enough to remember when we didn't have the internet, and I was an adult at that time as well. And everything that you see online right now, all this fucking stupid shit, it's the same. It was the same before the internet. It's just blown up now. Like these little Discord servers, for different YouTube channels. That was like if two guys were getting in an argument during the day, and they're buddies and all little troublemakers by like, yeah, kick his ass later, meet him after school, and the other guy's got his buddies, you can kick his ass, and they rile people up, and it's the same fucking thing on here. It's just everybody thinks it's such a big deal, like they're fighting for some, I don't know, like white savior, black savior, fucking cure the
Right.
planet bullshit. Like,
I
just
think
shut the
everyone-
fuck up.
I think everyone has an over sense of importance. The internet gives a lot of people over sense of importance, especially when they get said clout. I never treated that way. Like people are like, two people was like, "Oh, you've gotten more subs recently. Good for you." I'm like, I really don't care. I mean, I do my videos just as entertainment. I do these streams.
I have
for
one.
entertainment. Yeah, I just really don't care for that. I'm interested in certain topics. I'm trying to figure it out, and I think doing streams to share it to people and getting people's input is very useful of a practice.
Yeah, I love this because I was telling my girlfriend about it because she is having a hard time like understanding what this stuff's all about, and I was like, think about like the things I like talking about. Every fucking place I go, I'm told I can't talk about it. Like if I go to work, I can't talk about the shit. If I'm sitting at family dinner, they're like, don't bring this up because one side's this side, one side's that side, or you'll upset my college niece because who the fuck knows what's up with her. And I hear I can talk about it, I can argue with people about it, and then it's like, all right, I can just turn it off.
Yeah. to go out, touch grass sometimes. I agree.
Yeah, I go
This is
to
why-
work.
Yeah, I this is why I don't keep any of my apps on my phone. Okay. Oh well, sometimes I'll listen to YouTube and
That's
chat.
just crazy.
I just don't want to be plugged in all the time. I want to be able to go outside, take a walk, go to the store, maybe go out to
Crazy
eat. Yeah.
talk. What? You're just gonna let those voices in your head like rule you? No, you got to drown them out with constant entertainment.
Well, that's why I have
usually
Audible
like 3
on my
sets
phone.
of earbuds on me
That's-
because.
That's why I have Audible.
Well, you said no apps.
Okay,
That's an app.
social
sir.
media.
It's got reviews on it. It's social.
Yeah.
It's got reviews.
It's not me having to listen to other people or being plugged in all
You're
the
in
time.
a community online. You're allowed to give feedback. I'm sorry, sir. That's social.
You know what's really good on Audible is the Audible reading of SVU seasons 1 through Special Victims Unit seasons 1 through like 24. I get those on
Wow.
Audible. They're so good. It's riveting.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
each
also
episode
ripped from the headlines. It's great.
SVU. Law
Yeah,
and
it's
Order?
most of it's Richard Belzer, but a lot of it's Ice-T.
Okay, I see. I like the little
Yes.
Ice-T.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Ice-T cannot be beat.
No.
He is legit.
But yeah, let's at least wrap this up for the stream because it's been going on for a while. But
Well, I mean, what more can be said other than Ice-T is legit?
deflecting. But
So
yeah,
wait, Vincent, how do you know Anna?
How do I know Anna? I commented on her videos and she's like, we should talk sometime. Even though I'm critical of Synthetic Man, she seemed interested into talking to people who are critical of Synthetic Man. So I think
right.
that's rather admirable. Even if we
She's a nice girl.
For sure.
don't agree on anything, it's still
Yeah, she was nice.
No, I'm glad you found her nice. Okay, I think she has some warped views. Maybe a lot of that's an act. I don't know. Who knows?
So if somebody has warped views, they're not nice.
Yeah, I don't care what
No.
anybody's
It
views
seems-
are.
Yeah, I
like
know.
you're,
I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm not-
Sorry. It sounded like you were saying. I was like, what? You're saying she's not nice?
no, I
She seemed
believe in
nice.
just being able to sit down and talk with people and not having to watch what I say. Because every time I
sure.
Yeah.
interact with these people, it's like the littlest thing sets them off. And that's really fascinating and funny to me. This is why I've been
Yeah.
covering them, along with probably why you guys were sort of egging on actual fandom and
Oh
organized
yeah,
chaos.
totally.
You just don't understand that, and you try to get an understanding that almost play by play that I ran into. I'm like, okay, I'm
Puzzling.
just giving my opinion. I'm making arguments. Not all of them are going to be the best. You've been at this for a while. You're just gonna You're just gonna be like, me an idiot because I'm trying to make arguments that I think are solidly backed up by logic, but they just want to make arguments and make fun of people dogpiled and just
Yeah, they're mean.
pretend like, yeah, they're just cry bullies. And I give them the littlest bit of pushback and they all freak out. And it's just so comical that they're both go after people so viciously sometimes. Sometimes I can sort of see where they're coming from with Sean defending Lolicon. That's a hard thing. It's stupid. Sometimes it's over the littlest things, like with Anna Waifu just doing an opinion piece about how she thinks the game. Yeah, she uses hyperbolic language and uses weird sense of humor. They
Yeah,
don't
but you
even
could hear
acknowledge that.
the anger in that kid's voice.
Which kid?
He had it when that video that you played the other night of the
You think he was angry at her because
he sounded like he had like meanness in it, like in his voice there.
Oh yeah, he just was having fun bullying, and people call you. This is why I just been calling them out. Okay,
It felt like there was something more to it, though. I don't know. It's not like a regular It's not like this dumb bitch.
It's
He was like,
it's
it felt
tribal
very-
mentality, and I don't even think it just comes from his sort of tribal mentality. And it might have been the fact that she's associated with me. So
He
that's
sounded
sort
like
of,
an ex-boyfriend.
well, as I said, it's possible maybe some of them have a crush on her, mad
Yeah,
that
could be.
she's simping after synthetic man. I don't know. I can take guesses, but every time I make a guess or a joke guess, they're like, oh, it's slandering. I'm like, dude, it's my opinion. I'm basing it off of evidence. If I really wanted to slander you, I would say, yeah, you're a creep and you probably do blah, blah, blah. I'm not. I'm saying this shit is sus and this is the reasons for it. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know enough about them to slander them.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Otherwise,
do
I
it.
would.
They would. I mean, if you.
I prefer
like,
libel myself. I like to put it, right.
I'd like to argue. This is my problem, and I can be rather critical and probably go for the throat sometimes when someone pisses me off, and that's what happened with that initially, and this keeps on happening. It's just funny to me. But I still think there's some weird shit going on. Like I can't like that soul versus soulless. That just like totally took me out back on a front. And with this video here, Rise and Fall, people are critical. I'm gonna pause it. Basically, they were like criticizing that he was bringing up certain games that wouldn't be considered arena shooters. They seem very particular, more about the language used than the ideas that's presented. I don't think this is a great video, the rise and fall of arena shooters, but they seem to get their autism because he didn't bring up indie games. Ackman, they're like, you should have brought up indie games. There are good indie games. Saying they're dead. I have a whole bunch of videos explaining my point that indie games, he's talking about the AAA popular market and they get all butthurt. He's not bringing up indie games. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
my mind is just fucking blown by how many views these things have.
What? Ackman's or some of the little feeding
even,
up on Anna Waifu, making fun
no,
without
the act man and the last guy. I just don't know anything about these guys. I didn't realize there was such a.
It's an industry now, okay?
Yeah,
These guys are
holy
the
shit.
big league, okay? They make money. This is why people just call them shills. You thought,
Yeah,
let's see something. I don't know.
The
if this
industry
looks-
is dying. I see.
Nerdrotic.
Oh, God, don't put him on.
No, I'm not putting him on. Sorry. Yeah, I find him as cringy as most of the people who criticize him.
I don't disagree with anything the guy says. I just don't really like watching him.
Style.
He
Yep.
reminds me of somebody I used to know, and it like bugs me.
No, I think he's just about the hype. Okay, sorry. See, this guy isn't even at 1 million. Okay, this guy, 1 million, and he still almost lost his channel because he made fun of some guy who called his mother and Quantum TV. That was a whole little saga also. The
What did he
Quantum
do?
TV saga. This guy here, not Nerdrotic.
Let me ask you guys an opinion on something else because I know you want to get off, so I want to be annoying. Well, you guys ever listen to Chud Logic?
Yeah, I like Chud. Some of his
I love
topics
Chud.
aren't. Some of
Chud's
his
awesome.
topics don't interest
I kind of
me at
love
all,
the
but
shit stirring.
I like his style.
He's so funny, right?
He has
I
his
was
moments.
I like it. I just like his fucking reactions to things. I think it's so funny. He's like, "What the hell is this?"
Well, I
I
was
couldn't
following
agree
him
more.
before he did the face reveal.
Yeah,
He looks-
I remember that. I can't remember exactly who the bust was, but yeah, I do remember that as well.
He looks like the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yes, he does. He kind of has a bit of a, was it Sam Tully or something?
Sam Tully, yes. Sam.
Well, let's plug our stuff. We can still talk some afterwards, but I should end the stream. We're getting too divergent.
What are you talking
yeah.
about? This is the most focused it's ever been. But yeah, deal. Let's I guess let's end it. Yeah. So I'm Gray Poupée. Thank you for having me. My channel is my name.
Yep,
check it
it's
out.
right there on screen. Hopefully,
You'll find Patrick there.
Yeah, and
Some of the
I have
time.
I have a channel now too.
Oh, nice. All
Yeah. I don't have any videos though. It's called A
Okay.
Based Life.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see that. A base life. I hope it's somewhat ironic. I mean, all your photos look way cooler than you really do. I mean,
That is not true. That is
Yeah, I
very,
had a-
very mean, sir.
It's like
he is
10
just as
it's
cool
10
as those
after 1 in the
photos.
morning.
Yeah.
When I put on my nice clothes, but most of the time when I stream, I'm in my pajamas.
Okay. Well, I'm in the broadcast. We'll
fuck
probably
you.
talk some more, but to everyone who watched through this quite interesting stream, I hope you found something of interest. Till
Yeah.
next time, bye.
Both of you.